Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she walk that thing jiggle, jiggle. And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, yeah, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this my, back in my bag flow. Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything in Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche. Steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson face, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to Vizzy at the Millies. Out on Club Hurst, give the word if it's a city, Lord forgive me. Still having motion, dog, so why would I slow it? Make it rain on them, bust a band, then you throw it. We was steady having it, even at our lowest. High speed road runner, keep my motor going. Hey, hey. People feel away, but they don't show it. Gotta watch the people that's around you, that you grow it. They be coming around you with some plans to steal your moment. Soon as I bust a nut, she be like, like, baby, where you going? Never slowing down, it's enough to go around. Yeah, you probably knew it's then, but really you don't know it's now. Niggas let it show and tell, but all my niggas know me well. It was either chase a dream or go to jail, but none of us ain't going. We going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, flow, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, flow, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back.
Yeah. You vibes in the word. What a wait. Late night creeps where the shadows grin. Juvons in the cut, let the games begin. With a flick of the blade, we dive in the sin. It's a marathon groove, not a race to win. The clock don't sleep, the knives don't pause. Chasing thrills, no time for applause. The world spins mad on Juvon's claws, where the edge cuts deep in the night's great jaws. Sit and spin under the neon glow. Wide awake where the insomniacs go. Feel the steel flash, let the adrenaline flow. Juvon's night flicks, it's the live late show. It's the live late show. Right. It's the live late show. We're too sharp to dull, too fast to catch. Each blade is the spark making midnight hatch. In the zone we own on this Twitch dispatch, where the world sits still but the vibes still match. Time's a blur in the sleepless den. Every move's a twist, that slice in the zen. Juvon's got the rhythm, the pulse of man. Locked in the spin till the morning end. Sit and spin under the neon glow. Wide awake where the insomniacs go.
As a past Olympic champion, I keep myself in top physical condition. And as a professional race car driver, I keep my car in top condition too. That's why I support Smog Check, California's vehicle inspection program. By the year 1987, it's estimated that Smog Check will help reduce the amount of auto pollution in the air by as much as 25%. That'll help us all breathe a lot easier. And when your car is producing less pollution, it's probably getting better gas mileage and performing better. The average cost of a smog check inspection is only $20. If your vehicle does need repair and the smog equipment has not been tampered with, you will not be required to spend more than $50 on repairs. Call this toll-free number for more information.
Lots changed in a few years. What's going on, guys? I hope everybody can hear me. Welcome to an Insomniac Sit and Spin. Donzo, what is up, brother? We got El Cap Attic in the house. Let me get up to the top and start saying howdy to some of you people. I totally neglected the chat Friday night because we had a full house going over James. Angelo is a new member. He came in before everything started, so you know what that means. I've got to give him a quick man hug. I'll try to turn the sound down. Angelo, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. But Angelo was in here early. We had several other people in here early that weren't going to be able to stay. B Shady was in the house. Bama Ninja's got an early morning tomorrow. He stopped by. We got channel member Ed was in the house when we started up. And we got brother Richard Hopkins, channel member. What is up, buddy? El Cap Addict. Howdy, howdy, howdy. You lurk, man. Burnt Relic's in the house. What's up, brother? It's good to see you, man. And then we got Donzo. Where's my clown? What's going on, buddy? And who else we got? We got. Paul Mills is in the house, channel member, and my brother. Good to see you, Paul. I want to find out what everybody's been getting new, what's been occupying everybody's time. Drew Dude's in the house. What is up, Drew Dude? Good to see you, man. Mad Yako, you channel member. What is up, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see all you guys. We got Brown Sugar in the house. What's going on, Brown Sugar? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else we got? I think we're getting caught up, guys. Kathleen Smith, young lady, good to see you. Welcome. Channel member. always in the house, always supportive. We got NFK 2026 is in the house. Wrong people, not ruining relationships with mom, little sister, because I'm so negative all the time. I'm not a therapist, but I can tell you what works with me. You've got to channel the hate into places where it won't affect people that you care about. And ideally, suppressing the hate would be ideal. If that doesn't work, just don't, unfortunately, the people closest to us get the collateral damage, at least in my life. But just, dude, I hope it works out. I hope you could find a way to, let that out a little more healthy and don't take it out on people that are closest to you. Because at the end of the day, they love you. Sometimes it's hard to see that. I know in my life it has been. Scott, what is going on? But we're here for you, dude. Hang in the chat, ask any questions. We will figure it out. What is up?
What's going on, man?
Not much at all. Just saying my howdies.
Sorry, I just realized you went live early, so that's why I popped on.
What I do is I'll watch Tri-States and wait till he goes over, and then I'll let it go over for about 5 minutes and I'll start the music. So I usually go live a little early.
Gotcha.
You know how it goes. How have you been going, dude?
I've been sick for 2 days. Now I'm just getting caught back up. I caught a stomach bug or something.
Are you getting on the back side of it, you think?
Yeah. Today is finally feeling better. Yeah, able to get out of bed and actually function.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I hate getting knocked down. I think I told you, was it last week I had that sour stomach when you and I were talking and you were trying to do the...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a food related thing though.
I think mine was too. It was either food related or it was just a stomach bug thing that caused some serious stomach issues.
Look who else is in the house. What's going on, Edgy?
What's up, man?
Dude, just living the dream. I didn't know how to update my little message to it.
How you like my shirt, John?
I like it. I like my gun. I can't read the bottom part. Go ahead, let me read it again.
I like my guns like Democrats like their voters, undocumented.
Undocumented guns, undocumented voters. Yeah. Hey, man, all in good fun.
Right.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I was also up all night last night, sitting on the toilet. So I took the day off today. I feel like I'm a little ahead of schedule, so I'll get back at it tomorrow.
Hey, man, as long as you're feeling better.
Yeah, I feel fine. I never felt sick. I just couldn't stay asleep. Like I'd go to sleep, 15 minutes later, I'd wake up having to go to the bathroom.
So how's it going over in Atlanta? Have you heard any updates?
What about Atlanta?
About James. I haven't heard anything.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I got a text from him today. He didn't give me any updates. Something about other than them changing. They got some new medicine that they're giving him to help with his headaches. It's not like a pain medicine, but it's supposed to help relieve the pressure on his brain so he don't hurt so much. And then he said, the last text was, yes, sir, buddy. And I know I've been saying this a lot, but I can't thank you enough for all the help you and all these people have given. It has helped. I really thank y'all so much. So
it's awesome to make a difference. And the fact that he was able to get over there and they checked him in the same night just shows that Tom was getting away from him. There was no time to waste.
Yeah. What do you mean by these people?
These weird people.
You don't know who y'all are.
I know.
John, have you received any emails as far as like confirmations? One, okay.
I got one from G-Man.
G-Man, okay. I'm pretty sure James. So far, James has said everything that has came in has been from me. Now, this was a couple of days ago, except for one from, I'm not going to say the first name, but the last name was Maiden, so I'm assuming that's Gons.
That's exactly the one I got.
Okay, good deal.
That's and what I figured you and I would do is we would go through and kind of reconcile those next week to make sure we got
that
everybody.
should make it easy enough for me too, because they're all in my file, so I can just
And I guarantee you, if you ask, James would print that out for you or email you that, 2 weeks activity.
Oh,
If we
I'm
needed
sure
to look at, yeah,
I'm sure he doesn't know how to do that.
we could walk
yeah,
him through it.
that should make it easy. I should just be able to, we know
Hey,
about
Javon.
that one, and then the
Yeah,
rest of it
Kyle.
all going to be in my.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna put myself on mute because I'm gonna be sharpening a little bit while you guys are talking, and it's loud. So
You need to put your sharpener back so we can see the knife.
Well, I got to clamp down right now.
I got you.
So, if you guys say something, I'll pop on and respond. But I just want to let you know that's why it's
Yeah, if
on
you
me.
need to defend yourself, feel free to jump on.
I will, buddy.
So, Shane, you want to let everybody know kind of what's going on till Sunday? How we're doing this for James?
Yeah, we'll go over it again. I'm sure most everybody here already knows.
And it's in the description too for those of you who are looking. You don't have to follow that.
So we're just doing. We've got James's Cash App up there, but so far everybody's sending the money to me through my PayPal, and then I've been forwarding it to James through his Cash App. But yeah, we're just doing for every $20 that you donate, we're doing a drawing for a thug, and there's other prizes too. I think I got really. I didn't know how to separate things and do multiple auctions and all this stuff, but some people have just donated items that whoever wins that drawing. Well, let me say this: we may do it where we do more than one drawing, so there being different
levels. Right.
Packages, but and I really appreciate that. Everybody that's offered to do that. But if you start adding any stipulations or anything like that, it gets really difficult. So right now,
logistically, we're
either just going to compile it all together and give it to the winner, or we may, because I know there's another package. There's some stuff coming from, I think, 5-door. I'm not sure. We're pretty much going to have to wait until we've got it all on hand and then decide, does this justify doing a whole other drawing?
Right.
It probably will.
Which we could have a drawing and then a grand prize drawing if we needed to, if it breaks out like that. The main thing I think everybody in the community will agree is making a difference for James and his family, and seeing what we've been able to do.
He's thanked me multiple times. They did have to stay. So he was, like he said, getting there was one thing, but he didn't know how they were going to eat while they were there. So, yeah, man, it's made a huge difference. Took a lot of pressure off of them.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Malcolm, Burnt Relic, what's up? Good to see you guys.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a net positive. I just hope, he gets a better quality of life through all this, which I think he will. I mean, I think anytime you go somewhere where they specialize on a condition that seems so out of the realm of local help,
right,
you can see really strong advancements with the right treatment and the right.
Yeah, he's been seeing a neurologist, his whole life. I think part of the dwarfism, he wasn't just born with dwarfism. He had a lot of other things wrong with him. And if I remember correctly, he told me several years ago, that he wasn't supposed to have lived this long. So, yeah,
Autumn win.
Worked out good.
Yeah, I mean, each day is a good day. I mean, he looks so stoked in that picture. That's a great picture. We'll have to pull it up later to show people who might not have been here. There is a face and a spirit attached to the name.
Yeah.
Even though it's his wife's name.
I hope you guys feel the I don't know if everybody experiences it, but that feeling you get of knowing you've helped somebody, like, and I'm not selling this story to brag on myself. It wasn't that much money, but I remember what kind of started it for me. I had never been very charitable. I don't know that I'd been in situations where, I thought I needed to be. I don't know. I just remember the first time it ever hit me. The first time it ever weighed heavy on my heart. My wife and I were at Trade Day. The flea market,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember running across this. I was standing at a guy's table, and he had all kinds of stuff. I was looking at his stuff, and this really young Hispanic couple. They didn't speak any English, and they had a baby, and she was carrying the baby, and it was, it's summertime, it's hot, and they were looking at a stroller, and he was having difficulty communicating with the guy, but the guy would say, he finally figured out what the guy was saying. He wanted $60 for the stroller, and I could just tell, when they looked at each other, like, you could see the disappointment. They didn't have $60. And like I said, I'm not bragging on myself at all, but I just gave the man the $60 and bought him the stroller. And I think that was the first time I had that feeling, that, this is what we're supposed to do,
And you felt the gratification.
If you're in a situation where you can, and at that point in time, my income was where I could, and I don't know if the stroller brought them any happiness, but it did me. You know what I mean? Because I would see them later on
with the stroller,
and the baby in it. Yeah, it just I can't imagine.
He froze.
Did he freeze, or is he thinking in deep thought? I was going to say that's so true.
Than receive. I enjoy giving more than ever getting anything. I hate getting gifts, but I enjoy giving.
I'm awkward. I'm awkward when it comes to receiving. Hey, buddy. That's stormy here. If you come back. No apologies, buddy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That was Shayne. They're dealing with the same storms we're dealing with here.
I hear you. You're good.
He's going to try to come back on, but he lost power for just a sec. We had so much hail earlier. It was nuts. It was very, very haily. No, but what I was going to add to what Shayne was saying is, if you're in the position to do something kind for somebody, it makes a huge difference. And a lot of times just smiling at somebody or being friendly to somebody is a lot more than that person might have gotten earlier in the day. So don't take simple acts of kindness for granted either. It's easier than just being a put your head down, go forward kind of guy. Sometimes putting your head down, going forward is okay, if you don't have anything positive to add, but I still think you can always add something positive just by smiling or saying howdy.
The worst, unfortunately, what turns a lot of people off is the ungratefulness. When you do something nice for somebody and they just look at you like, okay, like, you hold a door open for someone and they just walk by and just ignore you. It's like, yeah, you're welcome.
And a lot of times, though, you got to think that those people might be in that same shock of not knowing how to deal with it, or they've been brought up to think that that's somehow, I agree with you. It's awkward. It doesn't change it for me, though, because I can just.
I still do it. I don't care. But it's a point of, it would be nice if people were at least courteous back in recognition of, I appreciate that. So. But
I totally agree with you. It is always better to be reciprocated when you're doing something nice. I'm attempting to stream to Facebook, and I got a message tonight when I was on StreamYard. Guess what's the new thing that they've hooked up to StreamYard? Kick, baby. I'm going to quit streaming to Facebook, I'm gonna set up a Kick account and try to get enough view hours where they give me a gambling account. Then I'm off to the races. Y'all can tune into my late night gambling streams.
I thought Kick was wasn't that a messaging app like in the early 2000s?
No, Kick's the app that is owned by Stake. It's it's the one that all the people that get banned. It's kind of like a free speech app, but it's not conservatively linked in any way. It's linked more so to offshore gambling. So the top streamers, which no knife content would be, but the top streamers get deals that are in currency, usually in crypto, and also in, like, depending on what their requirements to stream are, they might get $10,000 a week that they have to gamble online. So you're really promoting gambling, which is not a good thing. But yeah, I noticed that StreamYard is now hooked up to the Kick infrastructure if you are a Kick person. And Rumble, nobody watches Rumble. I mean, we're on there now. I think we've got one person watching, and it's me.
It depends on, you got to build your audience there. They just don't come. But yeah,
but there's no way to build an audience really unless you're streaming exclusively from there, focusing on it, right?
Right.
So what I do is I put the content to both places, and I used to. Twitter's the best place to gain an audience, but they want you to be a verified member to use it, and I'm not willing to pay them $8 a month to have a check mark. I should be, but it's just I've got a problem with that. It just seems kind of. I would rather have YouTube ad free than pay to have a check mark and stream on Twitter. And what's weird is people won't leave Twitter to watch on YouTube. They'll just watch on Twitter because they used to not have that requirement. And when I would dual stream over there, I would get viewers on Twitter, where I get none on Rumble. But it's still good to have it there. You know, it lives there. I don't know if you saw, and I don't know what the specifics were, but I don't know if you saw Bird and Frankie's video. I just remember seeing the title on Instagram where they did a post. Did you see that? Where they talked about they'd had some trouble with their channel for some old videos being categorized wrong.
No, I haven't watched them, or I don't care for them personally.
Well, I'm not a big fan either, but I think I do follow them on YouTube or Instagram because that's where I saw it. And it just makes me queasy, you know, because YouTube can tell you you're doing something wrong anytime. What's up, Ron Crow, channel member? Good to see you, buddy.
Oh, yeah, I'll shut you down in a heartbeat just for something that's a mistake.
Yeah, and you know we've seen them reverse those decisions too. I've seen them reverse them with Metal Complex's demonetization and with Shayne or Cole's getting flushed. Speaking of Cole, I've got the Broke Ass Knives Gideon here. Not Broke Ass Knives. It's the
That's over Design.
Over Designs A to Z Broke Ass Knives knife. I always get the Dead Sober Designs, even though that's Cole at Broke Ass Knives. But it's really got a good action. It's not the style that I normally would like, but then you read about what it was inspired by, which is kind of like a dragon. And it does kind of have that whole feel. And it does operate in your hand in a lot of different grips, very aggressive grips. Got a full back spacer. And I don't think that recurves too much to sharpen. Do you, Kyle?
No, that's doable. Especially with half-inch stones, that would be easy.
Yeah. Or a ceramic rod, probably you could keep it.
Yeah, I do it with stones, but I don't sharpen on rods.
You don't use a rod to?
No. I like stones better, unless you absolutely have to get in a super tight space. But 99% of the time, I can get in there with a half-inch stone.
Yeah, I don't have half-inch stones. I donated those to A to Z EDC a long time ago when I wasn't using them. I had a set of Veneve dogs, half-inch, double-sided. Andrew Lyons, what's up? He wants to know what you're sharpening, Kyle. Andrew does.
Working on one of Shayne's thugs.
A thug.
Getting it ready for to send back to him to finish off to get ready for a blade show. These I'm not showing these off because these aren't scaled or anything or even finish work done on them. They're just roughed out. I'm getting them sharpened before he starts finishing them up. So that way he's got time to work on more stuff while he's
NFK 2026. You can't beat yourself up, brother. You've got to trust me from one to another. You've just got to let the past be in the past and just kind of build forward. That's all we can do, unfortunately. Mikey Trails, channel member, what's up, brother?
sorry, Joe. I don't try to talk more.
Dude, you sharpen away. You got to do your work.
I'm just trying to get caught up from the being down for 2 days. Put me behind. I'm trying to get this done as fast as I can for Shayne.
Shane says that might even be Andrew's thug you're sharpening.
Possibly.
Shane or Kyle probably knows this. Thug number 76. Thug number too many.
I don't.
Yeah, it was storming like hell here, Shane. We got hail out the yin yang. I mean, no rain, just hail. And then all kinds of wind and shit blowing around the yard. I'm surprised I've still got power and I was able to go live. Yeah, he's got his clamps, his TS Prof bolted down, so we're all out of luck on seeing it, Andrew. I apologize.
Andrew, they're not even finished. They don't have handles. They don't have any of the finishing work done on them. They're just roughed out steel with the bevels ground in. So
and NFK, just hang in the chat, brother. There are a lot of people here for you, dude. We love you. Life is a bitch sometimes. But we gotta fucking just grind through it. Kind of like Kyle's grinding through that bevel. Praying for you, brother. Ground Fog, what is up, buddy? Man, I'm living the dream. One drop at a time, dude. One drop at a time. Hanging out. Got some pretty cool knives that I was going to show you guys. One that I'm really impressed with is a budget knife. I'll show you a couple of budget knives first. This is a CMB. This is a Chinese brand that I first got exposed to with their Predator, which was kind of a unique bar lock. And this is the Explorer, which is about the size of a PM2. So to me, Kyle, tell me, does that look like anything to you? Because it really doesn't to me.
nothing necessarily right off the bat, but
I mean, nothing blatant, right?
yeah. And since he's not here to defend himself, I am going to give Shayne shit for.
He's here. He's just in the chat.
Oh, never mind then. No, the grinding this.
Rocky, what's up? Does it look like a Kershaw?
Super hard crew wear with no bevel on it. Sucks.
It's a lot thicker than an Iridium or anything like that. I bet it is, dude. I bet it's super hard. It's about the size of a PM2. Let me get the one out of my pocket. I'm carrying a PM2 today. So it's a big full-size knife. And it's about, I want to say, $60, $56. And I sharpened it. It's 14C28N. And it sharpened, whoops, very nicely. This is kind of cardboard paper. But this will be going probably Sunday in a giveaway. And then I got this knife I've really been impressed with. It's not something I would normally pick out, but I really think it's a good design. It's very flicky. It's very slicey. That recurve is just enough to cut very well. And I like the fact that it's got a full integrated G10 backspacer. I don't know why I like that, but it's got a really good clip, kind of a spoon clip, deep carry, reversible. I say reversible, it's not. But reviews coming up on this one at some point. I'm still carrying it and cutting with it, but it's a good little cutter.
Malcolm, no bevel as in sharpening bevel. I mean, it was ground like a normal knife, but it's to an end. There's no. I'm cutting in the bevel with the stones.
I thought he apologized and said he wasn't doing that anymore.
These are already sent out.
Oh, these were the part of that group of ones that you have to.
These aren't super thick. I told him to go ahead and send them because I wanted to help him.
So, do you have a stone that you use outside of your normal grinding stone? Or are you using something even more grindy? Does that make sense? Or are you just using your
core stone? I just use that one
and work through it, and doesn't wear it out much.
Yeah. No, I mean, because it's a vitrified CBN stone, it's not going to wear out.
Very nice.
Just got to clean it off every now and then, get the dust out of there.
Did I ask you if you would use 4-inch Veneve Scorpions or 6-inch diamond plates if you only had that choice?
Diamonds.
The plates?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because they fit better and they're longer.
And they'll cut faster than the Veneves. I'd probably use the diamond plate for a core stone, and then maybe go to Veneves for finishing stones. But
I just hate to have to adjust
it's a
that.
pain in the ass having to. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. It's such a hassle adjusting.
But I do have a Tony 150 4-inch. You're back.
Hopefully I stay back. It sounds like the storming has subsided.
Hey, Shayne.
What's up, man?
Sorry, I had to give you a little shit.
Oh, you're fine.
They're popping up, dude. They're
just
like,
so y'all know, typically I grind my bevels and I try to get them to 10 thousandths or lower. Sometimes I fail. Kyle's got one there that's a lot thicker than I thought it was, so it's actually coming back to me. But I usually run the knife through my work sharpener. I don't really like the edge that it leaves, but I go ahead and put an edge on it with that so that Kyle has something to work with. You know, technically all he's doing is knocking the convex off and making it flat and much sharper. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I didn't have a chance to do those.
And I was just he's not normally. It's not like it's a problem or like he's.
Yeah. It's just that it's really hard crew wear.
Yeah, and it takes longer to do it when you have to cut one in and there's not one there to start with. That's right.
And you know, typically when you're sharpening, you know, you sharpen till you get that burr. But he's not going to get a burr because there's no edge on the other side. So you know he has to just be precise and you know get both sides about the same before a burr ever even presents itself.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw me flipping it, but what I'll do is I'll work one side till I get a bevel started. Then I'll flip it to the other side, match it up, get the bevels roughly even.
If you just keep going till you get a blur, well, you've done a chisel edge on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had actually had a little better results in the crew wear this time around than I did my first. And like I said, I don't mark the knives with the HRC because I know how you freaks are. And if you knew that there was one of them that was 65.4 and one that was 64.8, you'd want the higher one. So I don't even know. I have them all tested. I know what the range is, but I don't mark which one was which.
And none of us are going to be able to tell.
No.
Hey, Kyle, check that out.
The only person who may ever know exactly what their HRC is Paul Mills, and that's because, you know, for a couple of times now, you know, he's got his steel special. So if it's a batch, I don't mark them. What's up, Andrew? Yeah. Kyle's not showing those because they're like this. I haven't even touched the spines of them. Nothing's been cleaned up. They're just rough shaped, and the bevel's ground. The reason I did that is because I'm so short on time. I was afraid when I got them complete, I wouldn't have time to get them to Kyle to be sharpened and get them back. So he's going to sharpen them, tape them up, send them back to me. I'll put the handles on them, clean up the spines, clean up the shape, all that stuff, and they'll be done. So,
hey, man, you got to make it work, right?
Right.
Outdoor Wilds, what's up, buddy? Coming over from Rumble.
You can feel free to HRC test anything I sell, Andrew.
Welcome, man.
Problem is you'd have to grind the handles off of it because there's no flats on there. Well, there's a small flat spot you could test. I take that back.
Malcolm,
where the scale angles back, there's a little small triangle there.
Malcolm, I'm just using my normal coarse stone. It cuts pretty quick, so I enjoy it. I haven't found anything that cuts faster than this. The only downside is it just takes a little more time than like a normal factory folder that already has a bevel on it. But
it would have taken me forever. It would have taken me forever because all I have is a Veneve.
Yeah.
150.
Well, say howdy to Outdoor Wild.
And it's a 4-inch stone. So, yeah, it'd have taken me forever to do those.
What's up, Outdoor?
He's popped over from Rumble.
Outdoor Wilds. What's up, buddy?
Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4-inch stone would definitely take a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah. That F-150 is supposed to be like a 240 grit.
Yeah.
But, man, it just it doesn't feel fast. I'll just say
It's not fast.
The Veneve, the Veneves just, they leave a beautiful edge, in my opinion. But I think it's because the binding agent, I feel like, is kind of polishing the edge as
it goes.
Steel. Yeah, it's just not as fast.
Jared talked me into getting an Atomi diamond plate for my first, like a Atomi 150. And then
I have one here somewhere, but I'm telling you, mine felt super aggressive when I first got it.
They wear out fast.
It feels like it lost its aggression pretty quick.
They do say, depending on what you're cutting through. Bobo Bonker, what is up? Bonk, bonkers.
Shayne, is that loud?
What loud?
Can you hear me sharpening?
Just barely, but it's
not loud.
Cool noise. I heard it louder a minute ago, but now I don't.
I'll put on some background music.
I ordered some new steel today that hasn't really been talked about much. I can't remember the guy's name at Pop's Knife Supply. Kind of wanted to create the carbon steel to end all carbon steels. And his hopes for it were, it was going to be used standalone as well, but they're thinking that it's going to be the edge retention part of Damascus layers eventually. It's called Pop's Pro Cut, and it was formulated by Larry Thomas, and he just wanted something to bridge that gap between that super toughness. But what's great about it is it has nickel and tungsten in it, so it's capable of achieving super high HRCs, like glass cutting HRCs, 67. Super Steel Steve made a few knives out of it, and he tested it, and I watched him test it, and I was surprised he didn't bring this up, but it cut 363 feet of cardboard before it would no longer cleanly cut notebook paper. We all know that doesn't mean a knife's dull. It's just it's past the point of what we consider sharp. So
how many feet?
363 feet. So
Good God, dude. That's a football field, isn't it?
It's over a football field. So I went back and looked at Steve and Gerald's testing, and that's more linear feet of cardboard than S30V, S35VN, any production M390 or 20 CV. It outcut them all. Now, the only thing is to keep in mind, it is a carbon steel, so it's not stainless. But Steve was curious about that because it has that nickel, in the makeup. So he cut some beef with it and left blood on the blade and just left it lay on his counter for a couple of hours. Wiped it off, and there was no bluing, nothing. So we're not going to come out and say that it's corrosion resistant, but it's not. Well, like Kyle can tell you, that crew where he's got there just since I ground it and sent it to him is starting to try to patina. So I'll have to clean those up on right past. But
another one you'll want to keep it oiled up.
Right. I don't think it's not the end all steel and edge retention, but for a carbon steel, it's probably going to be the highest edge retention carbon steel you can get. And it's not just a basic carbon steel, because it does have, it has nickel in it, it has tungsten, it has some vanadium in it. So I have bought some of that. I'm going to do, Cheeto designed a bird and trout and sent it to me. I'm going to do a batch of Cheeto Bandito, or whatever his name is now. Throw Cheeto from the train. I'm going to do a batch of his bird and trouts. I know Crispy already has claim on one. There should be 7 of those, maybe. I'm trying to think. 48 inches. No, maybe 6. Yeah. So there should be 5 or 6 of those. And one of them's already Crispy's. So I just thought it was fitting for a bird and trout, to do a nice, super tough carbon steel. But this should be carbon steel unlike anything you've handled before. You're talking about carbon steel with higher end edge retention. So I'm excited about
price
that.
friendly too.
That is an awesome fixed blade.
Yeah,
That's one of my Grail fixed blades.
I can make them at an affordable price because the steel is price free. Yeah, I don't have to use any stainless steel wrap. I mean, people don't think about that, man. That's $5-6 a knife, just in the stainless steel package you have to make. So,
is that a powder metallurgy steel?
It's not powder.
Okay, so it's just an ingot.
Yeah. But Larian is working a lot off of this Magna Cut. It seems like Magna Cut is kind of the center of everything he's doing now, and he's branching out off of it and making several different steels for different purposes. And I'm sure there's going to be something he makes that has higher. Well, I know there is. What was that called, Kyle? The one that's supposed to be like a stainless K390?
Magnamax.
Magnamax is going to be higher edge retention than this Pro Cut, but you could be talking about a difference in twice the price of the knife.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get these bird and trouts in at around $150, and hopefully that is going to be including a 1931 Leatherworks sheath to go with it. Don't hold me to that, but that's what I'm shooting for, is the $150 price range. I will say this: I've got to start charging shipping, guys. Shipping is eating me alive.
Of course you do.
It's going to be $150 plus shipping, but yeah.
Malcolm, or I'm sorry, Andrew. PM60 is not hard to sharpen.
And I've never had a bad Kunwu heat treat. Personally, they've always performed very well. Now I heard because of that one guy that the Excalibur was soft. No, that was Jerry's knife. Never mind.
That's what we're talking about right now. I've got a 4-foot stick of it coming.
What's up, Louie?
And I ordered it at 3/32, which is a little thinner because a bird and trout should be. You don't want a bird and trout thick. They're supposed to be a thinner, slicey knife. So by the time I clean it up and all that, it'll be a little thinner than 3/32.
Andrew, let me give you. You've got good stones and the system and everything set up. You'll be fine. But don't expect it to be the same as like 14C. It's going to take longer, but it's not like a pain. It just takes longer.
Ron Crow, I haven't touched your prick, and the reason for that,
But I will touch it.
I've not touched your prick because I had a stomach virus, but I'm going to the shop tomorrow. And I'm going to grind the chisel tip on it and bring it home and get it wrapped tomorrow evening. So, and in case you guys wonder why Ron badgers me every live stream I'm on about his prick, because I told him to. I was like, dude, stay on me so I don't forget it, because the pricks are kind of secondary, in all honesty, and I tend to put them on the back burner, but because he won that one, I didn't want him to have to wait forever. So,
are they coming off of like a cutoff that you then finish?
It's a cutoff of Nitro V. When I made the Nitro V thugs, I cut about 3/8 of an inch off the side of the strip, so they'll be super tough. You know, there's edge retention is not a question here because it doesn't have an edge. It just has a chisel ground 45-degree tip. It's made for penetrating,
right? For puncturing.
Yeah, and if you're gonna make something like that, in my opinion, like if somebody asked me to make a S125 V prick, that would be kind of dumb.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes more sense to use the toughest steel you can possibly use. And Nitro V is right up there. I mean, it's in the top 5, the Hall of Fame of toughness. So, yeah, I made some in crew wear, but to be honest, in this application, the Nitro V is going to make a better prick than the crew wear does.
Have I shown you this little knife, Shayne? This little Nitro V, ELC coated. It's a collaboration with Big Idea Design, but it's JS. I forget his name, something Sims or Smiles or something. He's in Chattanooga too. But this is a USA made knife with the V10, I guess they say comes from Austria.
Yeah.
Or Nitro V, I'm sorry.
Right. You know, I've debated on moving away from Nitro V, and it's not because I don't like it or that there's any legitimate reason to move away from it, but so many production companies have done it poorly that I don't think people give it a fair shake.
I wouldn't change your belief in it because I look at people like Very Good Knife Company that offer it as their upgrade steel. Enough people appreciate it when it's done right.
Yeah.
That you should lower.
And if you don't think there's a huge difference in Nitro V between, you know, what most production companies are doing, 58 to 59, and even 62 HRC, there's a huge difference. And I run mine at 64. Now, I've not advertised that there's a huge difference between 62 and 64 because, in all honesty, I can't find any testing to see how big the jump is from 62 to 64. But anybody that knows anything about metallurgy, a higher HRC, if the steel would withstand it, a higher HRC almost always equals higher edge retention. Now, is that 10 feet or 100 feet more cut? I don't know. But
I can tell you one thing. 64 HRC Nitro V feels unlike any Nitro V you felt before.
Right. Yep.
It is not the same steel. I mean it is, but it's not what you're used to at production. Custom Nitro V.
It chaps my ass every time I go on Tri-States, and every time he talks about knife, and he's like, "Ugh, it's in Nitro V. Nitro V is shit." Every now and then he will say, I mean, production Nitro V. I'm sure there's some good custom Nitro V out there, but
Nitro V,
just him constantly saying that it's shit has got that in people's heads. It's just like D2. I would love to make some knives in D2 because I know what it can do. Could I sell it? I don't know. At this point, China has ruined D2's reputation to a point that I don't know if it'll ever recover.
But doesn't Medford still use it and some of those other custom makers that really swear by it? The CPM D2?
Greg don't give a fuck, though.
Yeah, well, true.
Right.
But does he sell less of them because of it?
I don't know. I don't know. You know.
Have I shown you these scales?
Yeah, I saw those. Those do look good.
They do look good, don't they, for...
Sorry. I'm
laughing
at a comment in the chat.
64 is harder than... That's one of my fucking Rumble buddies.
You're absolutely right. These test results haven't been released yet. But I know and it's not just from one maker. There's 2 of them that have been testing it, and they've got S35VN outcutting Spyderco's K390. So you're exactly right. S35VN was a fine steel.
That's all comes down to the treat and how you, and you run it.
And production companies made it very mediocre, and that's what people are used to now. Oh, it's just mediocre. It can be excellent. But however, I'm in the same boat. I see it every time I go to order steel. I could buy it and do it well. But how hard is it going to be for me to convince you guys that, hey, this is going to be different than any S35VN?
Because it's expensive steel, isn't it?
It's not cheap. No. D2 is expensive.
Yep.
And that's my problem with D2. It's so expensive that I would be having to sell it as a premium steel. And it is a premium steel. It would be a premium steel when I heat treated it. But I have to convince all these guys that all that other D2 that you've experienced, which is not even CPM D2. That's China makes their own. So what you're used to D2 being is so much less than what it actually is.
But there's also better options for the price point than D2 now.
There is. That's true too. Yeah,
And
D2
that's
is
what-
the price point where I can buy MagnaCut instead of D2.
Because there are other industries that are probably using D2, keeping the price up,
D2's
right?
huge in the in tooling and you go to a machine shop and you see those big presses. You know, they got the dies in them, and then all those things bolted to the die that's cutting and shaping whatever metal they're stamping. Those are toolings. CPM D2 is huge in that because it's abrasion resistant. If heat treated right, it's abrasion resistant, and it just holds up very well. But that's not what you're getting in your average D2 pocket knife.
Matty, you're extremely lucky then, because most of Tucson's D2 is absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Anything that
I've
they
had
make
some really
besides
good
14C
D2
is crap.
It is, Mikey. You could have got, it's entirely possible that you got that one that was in the right spot. You have to keep in mind, these industrial ovens are the size of your home. And
I think Tucson has the best value per dollar in Chinese knives.
if I was going to buy a Tucson, though, I agree with Kyle. I'm going to buy their 14C.
I've got a D2.
They do it well. It's because it's very forgiving.
I need to go grab this. I've got a D2 on washers Tucson that Satu did a hollow grind on. That knife never had any corrosion problems, and it's held an edge like a beast.
This is D2 from Tucson. However, I can't say anything about its edge retention because it's all I've ever cut with this. I've opened some cans of Grizzly with it. This was a gift from Derek. But I don't have any opinion on their D2 because I haven't used it. But like I was saying, Mikey, your knife could have been that one that was in the perfect spot of the oven and got a better heat treat than the rest. That's entirely possible. But then again, you put that against a custom heat treated D2, I'd still be willing to bet it would outcut it by a long shot. CRM's
Paul, I think the MagnaCut was a tad thicker. Hold on a second. Let me run a little test. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Didn't one of the Demko brothers used to sharpen all of TRM's knives? Wasn't that a thing?
I don't know.
Not the popular Demko brother, the other one.
I can't tell any difference between the 20 CV and the MagnaCut, and the grind thickness looks identical. And they're both super sharp. Slicey. This is the 20 CV. It's got a little, I think the MagnaCut's got a little more bite.
Louis, that's partially because it's not S90, but it's their
version of S90.
Correct.
And
But
again,
neither one of them are as slicey as my Adams or my Neutrons, just because the grinds are so much thinner.
you test that Artisan S90 versus Greg Medford's S90 or Steve Kalari's S90 or Brian Kim's S90. Not even close. But all that matters is that, Louis, if you got it and you're happy with it,
Yep.
your experience is positive, that's all that matters, man.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to be a jerk
something
about
better,
that.
absolutely.
I was just stating a fact. I'm sorry.
Right. No, there's nothing wrong with that. If you can't take, if facts hurt your feelings, that's a problem. You know,
No.
you just have to be realistic about everything. You know, am I happy with this knife gifted to me from Derek? Absolutely, I am, because it was a gift. How does it perform? I have no idea. I just don't know. You know, I'm not happy with my. I'll show you one right now. I'm not happy with. No, I don't. No, it's not over here. My Spyderco Para 3 and CTS XHP is less than mid. I'm not impressed at all. My
Like I was going to say,
Rex 45, I'm very impressed with. So that's all that matters is your experience with it, man.
And see, my Shaman and XHP, I've really enjoyed.
Yeah. It just
Maybe.
All I'm saying is, if you told me that knife was S30 or S35, I would have believed it. I would, you know. I just don't think there's anything special about XHP.
It's
now,
not.
They're probably when Cold Steel started using it, it was special. It was high end at the time.
Right.
There's a reason why nobody's making it anymore.
XHP when it came out was great, but nowadays it's a low class steel.
Right. I think Roman M loves his Para 3 and 15V. I'm not a fan of 15V. I'm not bad-mouthing 15V. I'm just, it's hard for me to explain what I want in a steel. The 15V just isn't, it doesn't feel toothy enough and doesn't have the bite like Rex 45 does. Will it outcut Rex 45? It absolutely will. But when I rub my fingerprint across the edge, it doesn't feel the way I want it to feel.
And 15V is about to be a hard to get object.
Kevin, that wasn't the point, but if you were happy with those
yeah. Well, and here's the thing too. What people don't account for is how steel reacts based on the heat treat. So, like a good steel that's a budget steel, like a Nitro V or 14C, you put a custom heat treat on, like what Shayne's doing at 64, that is going to outperform any S90 factory. I think that would even probably keep up close with Spyderco's S90.
Todd, that is 100% true. And Kyle can attest to this. My Nitro Vs have been coming with a burn edge. Kyle's had to sharpen them twice. So, and that's another reason why I want to try the Pro Cut, is because one thing about Nitro V is, and nobody ever talks about this when it comes to knife steels, they all absorb heat differently, and they're all affected by that heat differently. Nitro V is very finicky about post-temper heat, so it is easy to burn the edge, whereas like Crewwear is not. If you guys watch me grind, when that blade starts to get thin with Nitro V, I have to dip after every pass because the water that I get on the blade evaporates immediately. With Crewwear, I can make 4 or 5 passes before that water evaporates. It just doesn't absorb the heat like Nitro V does. So it's a little finickier steel, and nearly every knife Kyle has sharpened for me in Nitro V, he's had to sharpen twice.
Because the edge has been a little fatigued. What's up, Scotty? So bad.
That's just part of knife making, though, man. You know, it's just part of it.
You learn as you go, and you go as you learn.
Louis, that they have been guilty of putting CPM in front of the letters, but they're making their own steel. They don't. There's no repercussions to them lying about anything. So, I'm not saying. Again, I've said this 100 times. I'm not saying there has never been any CPM steel shipped to China. I'm sure there has been, but by and large, if you buy a Chinese knife that says S90V, they made it there. And historically, they've proven that their steels do not match up. The end result has never been the same. It just has never performed the CPM steels did. And again, if you're happy with it, though, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Paul, I do think there is one difference, though, is they do get called out, but people don't care.
Right.
And that's the main issue in my book, is that a lot of people don't care, so they just put up with it.
Right. And that's how you change an entire culture. Not just with knife steels, with everything. If you get people
to lower their expectations,
to not care about things they used to care about, like the safety of your children, you can change an entire culture. But that's way too political. We're not going to go that route.
Speaking of not caring about your children, you know my buddy Steel Toe?
Yeah.
Well, all his the guy that was in the polycule with him got his sentence, whatever, so he can now talk, and he released all these text messages. And Steel Toe was such a cuck. There's a text message that he doesn't even deny that says, "I could stand to lose my kids, man, but April's like an angel that fell from earth. If I didn't have my kids and didn't have April, or if I had my kids and didn't have April, man, I don't think I could make it."
Yeah.
He's such a cuck, dude. It's such a twist.
I didn't get a table. I'll be there. I'll have some knives in my shoulder bag, but I'll quickly explain why. If I took I'm hoping to have about 10 knives to take with me. If I had a table and I took those 10 knives and I sold all 10 of them without doing any kind of special table price, if I just sold them at what I sell them for, I wouldn't break even on the table.
Let me tell y'all a secret, since there are not many of us in here. When you go into the pit, the main pit, if you're standing from where you walk in, looking at the pit, up to the right, there are about 8 or 9 tables that are elevated and dark. There were more sea otters sold there in a 5-10 minute period. And that's where you sit and you talk to people about knives. It's easier to do it at dark.
Yeah.
So just talk to some people at the, I watched people when everybody went to the Kaiser dinner. I was sitting there and the guy had a bunch of knives out that he was trying to trade that were a lot of very tactical fixed blades. Very nice, like $300-400. They looked like claws, nothing that I would use, but you could appreciate that they were made.
Right. Yeah, and Paul Mills has a point. You're right. They may be the same or very close. But if you took a spectrometer and put it on a piece of S90V and saw all the ingredients that went in it, and I spent some time on the internet and I bought all those powdered ingredients, and I put them in a pot, and I heated that pot up and somehow stirred it and made my own S90V, I would hope that you have the same lack of confidence that I would have that that steel I created is not going to be as good as Crucibles was, because it's not. I could have the ingredients. I could heat it to that exact temperature, mix it all together. It's not the same thing. It's just not. If it was, the testing would show that, but it's always shown that it's not as good.
China buys I want to say it's less than 20% of their steel from the United States. They make majority of their steel.
And the majority of the steel that they're buying from CPM, they're not making knives out of it.
Correct.
They're buying it for
structural.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up one thing. It's not political. It's not knife talk, but there's something that happened today recently here. I didn't get to talk to you about yet, Shayne. So our hospital systems and ERs and all that, there's 2 different main companies around here, but they operate on the same network server so people can log in remotely and check their test results and that kind of stuff. Well, today, all of the hospitals and ERs got hit with a ransomware hackware, and it shut down the entire system for everybody inside the hospitals and everything.
Oh my God, dude. What was the dollar amount? Did they even disclose it?
500 million. And to the point where there were nurses that I know who couldn't swipe their pass to get into the medicine, to deliver medicine to patients in the hospital.
What kind of disruption? We probably won't even hear how big that disruption was.
They talked about it in the news, but the nurses said it's way worse than what they're even talking about.
My doctor's office.
Is it resolved yet?
That was earlier this afternoon. I haven't heard anything updated since then.
Let's go to ransomware. Let me do a little Googling while y'all talk amongst yourself.
I'd like to know how you know that. I'd love to see. I'm not starting an argument with you, but I'd love to see proof of that. Because my inside man in China says that absolutely not. They make it themselves.
Kettering Health Center. Ohio's Kettering Health System facing widespread outages after cyber attack.
Yeah, Kettering Sloan is one of them, and Premier's the other one.
Holy shit. This one just manages 400,000 emergency room visits in 2023 alone. Took down a large Maryland healthcare network in January, and Microsoft warned in March that hospitals will need to spend millions to better protect critical systems necessary for. See, it's getting scary, man. Because
my doctor that I go to every month just started that online check-in thing, and I have to put in all my pertinent information. And at the end, it asked me to post. It even asked me to upload a picture of the front and back of my driver's license. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
I don't have a problem with that stuff.
It's going to cause you a longer wait. And I was like, then I'll wait.
What sucks is the fact that the people who are doing this don't realize how negatively that can affect innocent people, and that they're putting people's lives at stake.
Right.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, and you think about I would think that you put the big companies in a liability situation where they've got to make some kind of concession, and they're negotiating out of the get-go. Corporate espionage is a real thing. And with AI in the mix, you can only think that they can get into systems better. It's wild, though.
We've had several people test Kaiser's Super Steels, like when they came out with that 4V little fixed blade, garbage. So if they spent the money to buy 4V from CPM,
they would be able to heat treat better than that.
They ruined it. So even if they are buying it, they're ruining it once they get it. But
which is highly unlikely. It's more likely that
it's their version of 4V. Yeah, it's actually more likely that it's a combination of both.
They made that Kaiser Harpoon, the small fixed blade, in 10V, and I know it was absolute
garbage.
Yeah, because I tested it.
Yeah, and this is the bad thing. 10V is so heat treat forgiving.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
That I know for a fact I could buy it and hit my desired HRC first try. So
that makes you think it's not real 10V?
If it is, then it says something about the entire industry that it's all garbage. Because there's no reason why they shouldn't have been able to get a decent result out of 10V. If they just followed the protocol.
Do you think they're heat treating all these metals together? These different steels in big batches, maybe?
I could find out. It'll take me months to hear back. But
Well,
I
it's
hadn't
not,
thought
I
about
mean,
asking that question if they're doing them all at the same time.
which they know they're going to lose some on some, get some higher numbers on others, and maybe the people that won't notice.
Yeah, because the majority of people don't care.
Great question, Kathleen. I watched the video on this just the other night. They are rolling steel.
Correct.
Yeah, they're just a distributor. They're not an actual manufacturer.
Yeah,
So
these people that make the steel make it in big, thick pieces. And
They beat it and make it down to where
right. Niagara buys it, heats it, rolls it, heats it. They get it down to a thickness that we can make knives out of it. I can't remember who it is. Niagara is going to be start. Almost all your favorite steels are not going away. There's another company. There's another company that's going to make them. They've already been testing it. It's the same, but the 15V is the only one I know. This for some reason they just don't have the capability to make 15.
And then like 20CV, since there are other analogs. Mikey, I'm going to share a video that gives you kind of a plant tour. You've probably seen it. see, what's his name? Laren Thomas. I think it's Knife Steel Nerds.
Yeah, so they, like I said, they could be buying it, but the end result is shit. So I don't know what they're doing wrong.
Well, I don't understand why they would buy it. That for cost reasons, that doesn't make any sense for a company that's a budget company.
Right. And they can make it right there, right down the street.
No doubt, in a very high end facility.
Yeah, a lot of your favorite steels are changing names. Louis right about that.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to slightly change the name because of copyright stuff, but they've got, you know, they're working with Laren. They've got the recipes. They've got the exact protocol to make it. It's just not going to come from Crucible. You know, you see like the aerial photograph of Crucible and realize what that place is. It wasn't a very...
It was a dump.
It's a dump. Yeah, and it's not even a very big place. They just like,
that's a great video.
Powdered metallurgy company right up here in center, or in Leesburg, Alabama. You know, and it all just comes in bags. It looks like sand. They pour it all into a big vat together and heat it and leave it molten for so long
to a certain recipe.
Right.
Shayne. So
hey guys, that link will take you to a video about Niagara that kind of has a great shop tour, talks about their position in the industry, and it's very informative. Go ahead, guys.
With Laren?
Yeah,
that is very informative.
So the guy I have a connection with at Crucible was telling me that based on the most updated version, they were using less than 30% of the actual factory. The rest was dilapidated. And not even, it was run down to the point of it was collapsing and they weren't going to fix it.
So what's the environmental cleanup look like on something like that?
Horrendous.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. They were...
It's going to be a super site. It's going to be an EPA super site. It's going to be fenced in. And somebody's going to pay millions to dig out 20 feet of the dirt beneath that place and have it disposed of and replaced.
There were a lot of issues. I'll just leave it at that. There were a lot of issues with that site that were ongoing that company is aware of, or I should say the company that
Night, Malcolm.
Government agency is very aware of them.
Yeah. And Kathleen, the reason Niagara is so important in the knife industry especially is because they're the only place that lots of places can roll steel. But Niagara is the only place that can take it and roll it from an inch thick to a half-inch thick, and then reheat it and roll it again to a quarter-inch thick, and then reheat it and roll it again to an eighth-inch thick. Not everybody can do that. Most places get one shot. So in other words, they heat it up, run it through, and when it's done, it's done. They don't have the capability of reheating it and rolling it thinner. That's where Niagara stands out from the rest of the industry. And
it makes it workable for most knife makers.
Right. Yeah, that anneals it, removes all the stress out of it and all that stuff so that you can use it. Yeah. It's hard because, you know, I don't think anybody ever meant for the knife community to even get interested in this stuff. You know, and we just scratch the surface of it and act like we know what we're talking about. And in all honesty, we're all kind of idiots to it because there's so much more to it than we know.
We're idiots and we're such a minority, don't you think? When it comes to people buying knives.
Right. Yeah. I mean, 99.5% of the population could buy that Kaiser made in 10V and think it's great. However, you test it versus any other 10V and you realize, hell, this may as well be 8CR because that's where it tested. It tested about the same as 8CR or shit. It didn't pass up 1095 by much. So why waste? If indeed they came to New York and bought it, why?
Dude, I was up to change the subject because I'm a squirrel brain. I went up to Knives and More on Saturday afternoon and did kind of a follow-up video to see some of their new stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Michael Williamson. I could be wrong. He's the guy that Tate showed it to him. He's buying it. It's made by ProTech, but it's an automatic little knife with a liner lock. Have you ever seen that? Aluminum ProTech knife with a button. You push the button, it but when you push the button to close it, it don't close. It's got a freaking regular liner lock. It's like a thick one.
Let me ask you this: when you mash the liner lock, does it still have spring tension going
Yeah,
in? Or does it
yeah,
just fall
yeah.
shut?
It's got spring. No, it's got spring tension.
Okay.
So the liner lock is just there, I guess, for some kind of extra lockup. But
Well, I mean, the locking mechanisms on automatics aren't very strong, so maybe
No.
that's just a really strong version of an automatic knife.
and he had about 7 of those. But what's cool about them, 'cause I asked him what they wanted me to shoot, and he said, shoot this. He's got a case, like a play on words, a case full of case knives that when I first went in there, I thought they were just kind of new, nicer case knives,
Right.
but they're new in the box. Knives from the 20s to the 70s cases. So they're old, kind of new, or brand new in box stock. And these things are 200, 400, 600 bucks, but just the amount of knives he's got. But Shayne, when we were looking at the fixed blades, we talked about your knives again. Because the young guy that's a buyer that goes over to Blade Show, he's got real long hair. I'll introduce you to him over there. He runs around and buys like Demcos and shit and resells them. But the other guy, Tate, they've got some driver defense there. They've got some what's the guy's name? Hold on a second. Let me find this guy's knife. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Todd, you're 100% right. I mean, if the information I've received, and it's probably the same source that you're quoting, yeah, all that sounds 100% correct. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a liner lock auto, just because I know that. You know,
I'll show it to you. It's so cool.
The mechanism that holds this open is not very strong. I mean, it's just a little aluminum or thin steel plunge. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind opening it that way and then having to liner lock it shut.
Let's see if I can get to it real quick here. Hold on, I'm almost there. Where he showed it to me.
Yeah, Lou, you probably would have been better off because I had a sheepdog. I don't badmouth these companies, and I've never owned them. I've owned all this stuff. I loved my sheepdog. It was in 154, and was it as good as some other 150? I honestly don't know, but I mean, I liked my sheepdog, but I'm really glad I didn't pay more for 10V that probably wouldn't outcut the 154.
Can you see that, Shayne?
Yeah.
All right, let me zoom back just a hair.
It's really cool that there's places out there like this that
you know what that is.
They have the case knives that made case famous.
Oh yeah,
the
he's got from the
people
20s
wanted
to
case
60s.
knives.
See that right there?
Yeah.
That's a 10 out of 100 Benchmade. It's $11,000. It's got this blued blade. It's like, I forget how many years old. It's crazy priced.
Right.
But he's about to show this little knife with the liner lock.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a collector.
Oh yeah. And that's what's so cool about him is you can go in there every week. Here at Knives and More, I'm gonna let Tate tell you about it. It's one I've never even seen, but it's very cool. Go ahead, Tate. What's we got there?
This one's a Masters of Defense.
Masters of Defense. Have you ever heard of them?
I've heard of them several years ago.
He says they're real rare.
This model, these were actually made by Anthony Marafione.
Oh, they're made by Marafione. He's buying that, by the way. So
back in Vero Beach when they were down in Florida. But this was Michael Yanich's company, the guy who.
So Michael Yanich from the Yojimbo.
Yeah.
It was his company. He had Marafione make them down in Florida. And this guy Tate is very knife aware. He carries cool shit.
You know where Michael Janis worked and got his start?
No.
With Blackhawk. Back when Blackhawk made US-made knives. You know who Michael Janis worked with at Blackhawk? Michael Martin.
Really?
Yeah. I told that story the other night. Michael Martin worked for Blackhawk, and when they sold out to China, shipped all their equipment, all their stuff. Of course, nobody even knows about Blackhawk knives now because China ruined them. But that pretty much put him out of a job, and that's why he owns ABW now. It's weird how they're all connected, isn't it?
It is. You got to introduce me to him if we go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I just think that's a very aggressive looking knife.
Who designed the Spider Q Yojimbo?
Sure.
A bunch of other knives similar to it, like the Micro Jimbo and Yojimbo. But these were very well built knives back in the early 2000s. They sold out to Blackhawk in 2003.
Guys, it's an automatic liner lock. Have you ever seen that?
Blackhawk.
Yeah, I mean that's I guess the lore of it.
Yeah.
I already had a couple of others. Here we go. And these are all odd little, like a big one and a little one of these.
The bottom here, we got the Harold Corby collaboration Paragon knives. This is the
Paragons.
Cobra model. We've got the original box and everything for both of these. This is the mini.
They don't do it for me, but they're rare.
Oh, wow. That's a complete set right there.
And this is the ATKO 4. They made a bunch of ATKO series knives, but this one's just kind of special because it's a little bit smaller, no pocket clip or anything. Just kind of throwback to the 90s and early 2000s, how the knife world was back then.
Very unique.
The Tonto version
of that same knife.
But all this shit he grabbed from behind the counter, that stuff that's not even out yet, that stuff that had just come in. He's got 2 Battlefield pickup Hinders down there.
I saw a comment I wanted to mention. Andrew Lyons, I'm not going to go on record for saying this, and I've never actually even experienced one of their knives, but I've heard from several people that Kunwu's heat treats seem to be better. I don't know that for a fact, but I've heard a lot of people tout that they were really happy with their Kunwu heat treat. So maybe
their heat treats are not.
Luke, that's unfortunate because I really liked the Iridium when I reviewed it. Somebody sent it in, and I thought that was a great looking knife. I hate to hear the steel on that D2 was so bad.
Shayne, Kunwu's knives the heat treat is pretty good. I just can't say anything good about the company, but yes, their steel is not bad.
Yeah.
It's better than most for production.
What I was going to tell you, and I don't know the model number. I'll have to go next time I go over there. I saw the first ZT that really spoke to me. It had a micarta handle. It was a new one, like a micarta show side. I didn't take it out of the glass or anything, but it was a full size ZT.
Is it the new auto in M4?
Let me see if I can find it online.
I know ZT just released an auto in M4. I think it's an auto.
It's got an interesting micarta scale, so I'll be able to find it. They'll talk amongst yourselves. I think it's an everyday category. But what's cool about this knife store, if you're a Benchmade guy, they have to carry 4 of every Benchmade made in stock. So you can go up there and get any Benchmade any day long.
That Benchmade, have you ever met that Benchmade rep for Alabama?
No. Is he an asshole?
Everybody I talk to hates him. No. But everybody I talk to hates it. Like they literally dread seeing him walk in the door because he won't shut up and leave.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I've met him. I tried to do an interview. I don't know if you remember that, but when I was going to all of my local knife sources, I don't even know if I posted it. It was so awkward. Like, he's just intrusive. I'll just put it that way. But a nice guy.
It sounds like it.
He is nice. He's just.
I think this is it, guys.
Yeah, that's the one in M4.
And that's an auto?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a pretty knife.
I'm pretty sure it's an auto. I just saw a video about it today.
Automatic, push button.
It's a little pricey though, isn't it, for M4?
Crew wear. It says crew wear.
Huh?
It says crew wear.
No, it doesn't. Where?
Right down here. CPM crew wear. Maybe there's another one. This one's 320 on ZT site. Let me go back and see. Here's a.
Oh, it's the Kershaw. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not.
Well, maybe this one with the bar lock is it. Hold on.
Yeah, the bar lock may be the M4.
This is M4.
Yeah.
This is M4.
That's the one I was getting at. That's still a little pricey, guys. M4 is not that expensive.
And the bar lock, dude. I'm
the only reason I don't use more M4 is because of the temper process. It's 3 cycles at 1,000 degrees. It burns up so much time that I'm a fan of the steel. I'm not a fan of using it. But yeah, that
I like
seems
this.
high for a Kershaw. But it does look like a nice knife, and it's made in America. So
I like that fixed blade in crew wear. It's high dollar though.
Yeah, I can make you a nice crew wear fixed blade for.
How's your sharpening coming, grindy boy?
Good. I'm working on the last thug.
Nice. Hopefully you'll get to show us something and it won't be all for naught.
Once I get
What
done.
do I have out on the table? I have not tried my S90V on this. I need to do some testing on it.
What is that?
This is the Liang Ma Riot S90V.
I hope it's better than Two Sons S90V.
Well, it's definitely Chinese S90V.
I just hope for your sake it's better than their S90V.
For my sake, dude, I've got so many knives.
Yeah, you don't give a shit.
Do I really give a shit? I'll sell it. I'm sure I can get
I mean, dude, I've been rocking for months now this piece of VG10, and I absolutely fucking love it. And I haven't dulled it because, like you said, I have so many knives, I don't use it enough to dull it. But
right,
I've used it a good bit. But in all honesty, I'm mostly using the tip, so it really don't matter.
Is that a Spyderco?
Yeah, it's the Carrot Hawk.
Oh yeah, that looks wicked.
Who gave me this, Kyle?
How do you forget this shit?
I can't keep them straight. It's those two guys. I cannot get their
Well,
names.
it's not one of those two guys either.
Was it not? It wasn't Cargo or 5-door?
Correct.
It wasn't either one of them?
Correct.
Who was it then?
The same person.
Was it Snot Rag?
Yes.
Snot Rag. Yeah.
Snow Trog.
Yeah, Snow Trog gave me this. I fucking love it. And I do feel bad that I can never. I should remember who it is. It's a gift, but
you're horrible with names.
I am.
I'm terrible too. It's not a good excuse, but I am mentally challenged when it comes to that. Can y'all hear this music? Or can you not hear that music?
For me not to show these, to show them.
So, John, have you heard that there's a US OEM starting up?
No.
Well, there is.
Is it somebody that we know of?
Oh, absolutely, somebody we know of. And there's no question. Nobody will be able to question the quality of the work. I don't know what the prices are like yet, but
do you have a relationship with them?
I actually do have a pretty good relationship with this person.
That's awesome, dude.
And the first batch of his OEM knives are about to drop. And some people in the chat already know about it because they've already seen the video. But he is OEMing Super Steel Steve's fixed blades and is about to start OEMing some folders.
I remember Super Steel Steve talking about that on his video when he found somebody.
Alex Steingraber's goal is to be an OEM.
Did you see the guy in chat from Rumble who just got his SPK?
I saw that. He just got a shirt.
Dude, that's so cool that somebody came over from there. There were 3 people that actually were over there chatting. It's probably people from in here. It's probably fucking Kyle. He did it before to me.
It's not.
To make me think I had somebody over there chatting with me.
But once again, when you hear, I can't have knives made in the United States, what you're actually hearing is, I can't make enough money off of you to have a knife made in the United States.
And that's a very distinctive difference. You know, you gotta either my design does not warrant the price to make it worth my while to be different, or I'm not making enough off of you.
Right. And I don't know this for a fact, but I would hope, from what I know about Alex, that at the very least, people who have been doing business in China would be at the very bottom of his list.
Oh yeah, and why not? Because he's going to have enough people. I would think his demand will outweigh what he can produce. I mean, how in this place pretty small, respectively.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have a Sasquatch in Rex 121 from SPK thing. That sounds like a damn beast on car. I'm kind of jealous just reading that. But yeah, he's about to release a knife, or Super Steel Steve's about to release a drop of knives, a fairly large batch that were made by Alex, hand ground by Steve, and they're coming
After
in. And they're
after
coming
they
in.
were CNC'd,
They're
the
coming in
grind was started by Alex on a CNC, or was
under
it,
$300 in K390.
well, you know that SPK Shark run he did was under 150, wasn't it?
That was Spot. He did those.
I know.
Shane,
He only
do you want me to not show these? Because I know
you can show. I don't care. I mean, we've covered it ad nauseum that they're just rough cut and the bevels are ground. I don't care.
Okay.
And there's no that's a very that still needs a lot of work.
That's where the magic starts, though, right there, guys.
Right.
There's a cutting tool right now. Look at that side.
Yeah.
Hang on one second.
I mean, I've still got to Scotch Brite. It's still a lot of work. Yeah.
So have you heard from James's wife any, or have you been in touch with her, or have they just been so busy?
In all honesty, I'm not sure how many of the texts are him and how many are her. He won't talk on the phone.
Right.
A couple of times I've called, I've talked to her. He won't talk on the phone because, like I said, he can get out about a half a word at a time.
Right. And he gets probably self-conscious about that shit.
Yeah. So I think when I've called, I've talked to her. When I've texted, it's him. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a neat story that he came full circle after like a month and a half ago talking about him.
Right. It is weird. But yeah, Alex has been talking for a while about this kind of U.S. Knife Makers Guild, and everybody kind of working together to do certain aspects for one another, kind of turning it into the MKM business plan, but doing it well. So
I'll tell you something A to Z told me today, and he's flipped out. He doesn't understand how it happened, but he got MBK Sabertooth. Have you seen those? The one with the tall blade? Kyle loves it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got it on a blade bench for more than table. But you know what those things are selling for? An S90V?
140.
140 on their website. And Jeff looks at it and says, Javon, when you fucking review this, you're going to flip out. Now, is the steel any good? I don't know. But Kyle, do you think it's every bit worth twice what it's listed for?
No.
No, really? Okay. Because Jeff seemed to think it was worth.
That surprises me because Kyle was very excited about that now.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. So at 140, it's a steel. At 280, no, because I can't trust the steel, first of all. And second of all, I mean, it's built well to be a $280 knife, but I know where it's made, and I don't see value at 280.
Look at what you compare it to. You got to take. No, I guess I didn't phrase that right.
Yeah, I mean, at 140, it's a killer knife. At 280, there's other competition out there. At 280, I'd rather have an Aurelia at 280 all day long.
Is that who's that?
Sharice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, hands down, the Aurelia is a much better knife and even better built knife. The Sabertooth is nice. I mean, it's right here. I mean, it's a well-built knife. It's nice, and it's,
Did Kubi make that, do you think? For it to be so inexpensive.
It does not feel like Kubi.
He swears that when I've talked to him in the past, he won't reveal the shop because he says it's like a mom and pop's boutique shop that he uses in China, and he doesn't want them getting flooded with orders. But that's what he told me a couple of years ago.
Their quality is better than a Kubi.
Hold that up on the screen again, Kyle, and let me get you guys in the chat to guess.
Let me make him big. Hold on a sec.
Please post your answer. What do you think it costs?
Clean up the blade.
What do you think it costs to have that made by Riot? Like if I commission Riot to make this knife on screen right now, what do you think my cost would be on it?
I know the
$150.
How much?
150.
Well,
Depends on-
I'm not
depends-
waiting on everybody to answer. It's less than $100.
It depends on the batch, how many you're doing, Shane.
Right. But with those flat, plain tie handles, that's about an $85 knife from Riot.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to the flat handles. No.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
would, I would
original.
say,
looking.
Shane. Well, I'm not gonna argue. That's all.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there he is.
Just kicking us out. Thanks.
No, man, I just push wrong buttons. You know how I roll.
No, I'm not gonna argue, but I think Riot would probably be closer to the 120 on this one, based on smaller. If you're doing a
MBK size run.
yeah, and if you're doing a
You might be right. Without knowing the back size, it may
if
be
you're doing a Vero size run, this would be that closer to your range you're talking about, that $80 to $90 range.
Now those, I'll tell you that, and I got my head ripped off here, but I did it willfully. But okay, I'm not going to get it. But my fixed blade Axon was like $275.
Yeah.
My Vero.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not just it's a lot of money. I think I look at it different than other people do. Like, you know, yeah, Joseph Vero designed it or whatever.
That's where he puts his
And
value.
I sell knives that are close to that price. However, Joseph Vero, Ray Laconico, neither one of those guys have hours and hours of work in each one of those knives.
No, but I think those guys, and I could be
I'll tell you
wrong
about
about
that heathen that I made for Empty. He's not in here tonight, I don't think. That's a $250 knife in crew wear. I've probably got
I got two, Paul.
probably $50 worth of steel. The heat treat process cost me another $20. That's $70. $25 in a set of scales. That's $95.
Another 50 to 20 in belts.
15 to 20 in belts, so we're at 110. The shipping, you know, that's not the customer's fault, but shipping it to Kyle, then shipping it to the customer, that's another $40-$50. And then you figure the 6-7 hours I've got in grinding it.
Yeah, like Javon, I wasn't knocking this. This is a
that is spit out of a machine. Now which is better? I don't know. I mean,
No, I'm not. I think for me, I love this design because I've got the folder, but at the time I wasn't looking at cost versus, and when I look at Vero or even that weird Israel Bacchus dude, I think they look at themselves, and maybe what's his name did too. Rest in peace, whatever his name was. Israel. Not Israel, Isham. They maybe put a design fee on what they do. They might look at their design as holding an intrinsic value that we, or you as a maker, me as a buyer, don't necessarily see the value in.
Okay. Here's what it ultimately comes down to. I don't care what they charge for it. I just want people to know the market value of something so they're not overpaying for something. If people want to pay that much money for a knife, that's fine. I mean,
Maddie.
Go for it. But I don't think that a lot of people, they think they're getting like what Andrew's comment. Yeah, that's 100% bullshit. Yeah. So
let me tell you something. Cole Climber doesn't walk across his fucking room if it doesn't pay him something. And I like Cole. Cole's a friend of mine. Cole doesn't do shit that doesn't pay him.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Matty. Is that it doesn't matter what someone charges for it. It's just
and that's why I want to start making. Of course, I can only do fixed blades at this point. But like why I want to do knives for Javon, knives that he's designed, and I've got that offer out there to almost anybody. It's because can I make 1,000 of them that you can sell and make I don't know. I'm sure Matty doesn't want to talk about it. You know what he made off of each knife, but I don't want to make knives for Javon. His design and him to sell, if he's not going to make some money off of it, is
No.
Javon going to make more money per knife than your average YouTuber that has a knife? Absolutely, he is. Are we going to be able to make as many? Probably not. But he's going to make more money per knife for
But
sure.
I don't have a goal to make a lot, right? I've got a goal to go in it.
Right.
And
yeah, I mean, and nothing wrong. Javon, we've argued over this already.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it if you're not going to make a little money. Yeah.
Matty, did you eat it on a wiener, or did you just eat it straight up?
Yeah, unfortunately, the licensing doesn't pay a ton.
That's
But
awesome, dude.
That's because the company takes on the responsibility or the potential loss on that.
Yeah.
But
and I don't know. The question is, Matty, how many of those knives had to sell for you to make $170? I don't know. I know you and I could do a fairly small batch of fixed blade versus your knife, and you make more than $170.
That's why nobody puts knife center links in their description.
Cheeto and I haven't even discussed this. I'm gonna make Cheeto's bird and trout knife and sell it. And everyone that sells, I'm gonna send Cheeto a $20 bill for every one that I sell because it was his design. Now he's not asking me to do that, but I'm going to do that because I just feel like it's right.
Okay, Todd. So you bring that up, and I'm not going to say names or whatever, but most of your boutique OEM brands, when they do drops, right, and some of them are pre-orders, which, again, they take on zero responsibility for that. But I'm talking your mainstream big OEM jobs, right? They're doing 500 to 1,000 knives a drop probably. And they're going to be making in the neighborhood of 60,000 to 100,000 per drop.
I can't find my calculator. Somebody do that math. 286 divided by 66.
Yeah, talk for 2 seconds while I go to the little boys' room. I'll be right back.
I mean, that's less than
that's $430, $440 a knife.
$4.40 a knife Matty's making. Like I said, I can't guarantee to match that. But if we do the fixed blade version of Matty's knife and Matty promotes it and sells it, he can easily make $20 a knife. That's 5 times more. And if something takes off big enough and it gets to a point where I can't make them fast enough, I have the resources. I'm not using them yet because I don't need them, but I have the resources to put out a large batch. Total was 3,580, of which I made 286. Yeah. That's very transparent of you, Matty, to even talk about it on here.
Yeah, it's a shame. I wish they could make more, but I understand the company's perspective on that too.
Right. Yeah, I get it too.
Taking on the liability.
Right. The only thing I'm looking at if by offering that to do that for people, just like I'm doing it for Javon. Javon's gonna be my first one. Is that it's going to be up to Javon to market it.
That's what our total come up to.
Matty, but that's off of wholesale, correct?
Yeah. Matty, I'm glad you made $3,580 though. That's awesome. And like I said, I would rather, if somebody's going to buy a Chinese knife, I would rather they buy one that you made $4.40 off of.
Andrew.
The depends on the size of the batch, Andrew, but it wasn't more than 150.
Now I'm sure he's splitting that with Eric at Blade Binge because I think that's how that's all getting funded, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Blade Binge paid for all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you,
Holy shit.
I had
yeah.
what?
So that was the 286 was his net.
Oh, you haven't made 30. You've only made 286 altogether? Is that what you're saying? Like from the time you released the Phoenix, all you've made is $286?
Way to kick him in the nuts about asking that question.
I don't mean it that way. I just
I know.
It only upsets me because I feel like we could have done it together and he could have made. Now it wouldn't be a folder. I get that, but yeah, I just want to try to do it to offer, the designer a little more money than what they could. Yeah.
That's just 3 months of sales. That's last quarter.
Yeah.
Mr. Eddie, what's up, brother? Welcome.
Either way, I'm glad if it's adding a couple of bucks, but still that's a quarter. It's not even a month. So you made
that's 3 months.
$90 a month off Kaiser, 95, whatever. Yeah. I mean,
I told you about my
that was money that you didn't have. So, congrats on that.
I wonder if anybody else is getting hit with delivery tariffs. Consumer end. I heard about that one knife, and then I got hit with one.
Sorry, Maddie. I've been in that boat before, buddy.
Maddie drops that much on his quarterly mustard.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting at. So, like when I do Cheetos knives, if all 5 of them sell, Cheeto will make $100.
And all 5 of them will sell
in a matter of days. And then if Cheeto decides to promote it and we do 5 more, that's another $100 Cheeto will make. If we do 50 more, $1,000 Cheeto will make. So, yeah.
And putting money in the 100% U.S. industry just to see that it could be done.
And that Kevin Smith brings a good point. I know I'm not delusional and think that I have the power or the popularity to sell you 1,000 knives or even 100 knives. I'm just saying I'm willing to put in the labor. If you're willing to promote it and push the sales, we'll see what happens.
It could always go to down the road Steingraber to get made. If it was there's no telling what partnerships you could get to make it doable to be able to up the supply.
Yeah, and the thing about that with Steingraber is Steve didn't have to pay up front. So there's a turnaround. So he can literally promote it, do a pre-sale, and have them pay for it before he ever has to pay Alex.
He may not do that for everybody, though.
He may not. That's true. We're talking about.
Well, it gives Steve a little credibility there from if he's willing to do it for him.
Right. And I'm sure there's Alex is going to learn and have to adapt strategies as he goes. But that's the point is that I got hit with a $174 tariff with my Hog House Model T. I found out about it the day it was delivered. What a kick in the no shit.
Yeah, I got kicked in the nuts on one too, and mine was a review copy.
And guys, here's the thing. I don't feel like it's fair that the end user, like when UPS shows up, you have to pay. I understand why the entire country would probably be upset about tariffs if that's the way it's going to go. However, the only power you have is to send it back.
Yeah.
Your money back, not buy that stuff from over there anymore. That's the only way you're going to stop it.
That's not supposed to be that way, especially from.
Yeah, what is happening? They found a loophole.
And I think it was just. I really think it was just in that little time period where it was kind of gray, where nobody really knew what was going on.
Shayne, he's also talking about from the EU too. That's not from China.
No, the Polish custom knives was $140.
Yeah, but I was talking to Steve today. He sold a knife to a guy overseas. I think he told me it was in the EU. I think, and the guy got upset because when they delivered it, there was a COD. He had to pay the taxes and tariffs and.
Well, the EU always has, so they have what they call VAT. Okay, it's a guaranteed tax that is 20% on incoming. Well, a lot of times when they buy over there, they'll get pricing including that, so they'll have that 20% built in. But they're buying from outside the EU. Sometimes it won't have that, so they should account for that or ask, is this including the VAT? But
the reason I brought that up, though, Kyle, was 2 years ago.
Right. No, it shouldn't be that way.
This has been happening to everybody. It's just every other country has been able to get away with it and make people pay extra for our goods. And that's what all this is supposed to be about, is to make it fair. The goal is for it to not exist at all. If we're going to start charging it so that these other companies start to lose business and everybody just stops charging it. That's the plan, is just to make the trade fair.
Hey, Louie, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I did text you back. So,
yeah.
On another subject, do y'all watch YouTube ads?
I have YouTube Premium. I haven't seen an ad in forever.
Dude, you know what melon mushroom is? Melon mushroom pizza.
Hang on, I'm reading something.
That's about right.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to understand who you're talking about. There's no way that guy. He makes people pay him to show up at Blade Show. He got paid $10,000 to be at Blade Show last year. And guess who paid that? You guys did when you bought from EMP EDC or whoever. He's been paid to be at their booth. He doesn't do anything for free. Nor, in all honesty, though, nor should he. If that's the path he's chosen to take, if he wants to be a paid marketer, he should get paid. But nobody wants to be transparent about that type of stuff. I don't know that I blame them. It's not a good look.
No, I think if you're gonna monetize, you should monetize and be transparent about what you're doing. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think Melissa Backwoods is transparent with what she's doing.
She is a paid advertiser. She
admits that, but she tells herself that. Right. So I don't think she's got any.
It works on a lot of people. She's not going to sell me something I don't want because I'm not interested in her.
But think how many people bought ShamWows.
Right.
Or and I think of bees when I think of ShamWows. I don't know why.
Andrew, that's on you, buddy.
I missed it.
Yeah, you guys really think that Jared Neves and Outdoors 55 and Tyler Martin and Ben, do you think all those guys showed up at Worksharp at the same time just to film some content? Hell no. Worksharp paid them big to come push their new knife. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that is indeed what happened. That's how these people are making a living. Cole doesn't have a job. But it just pisses me off because he says things like that. There was no profit. Right? We didn't make any money off this.
See, I never heard that because that's crazy talk. Yeah. Everybody knows that's crazy talk.
Right.
But again, I guess it hurts your grift if you don't say that.
Mr. Eddie, I don't know that I blame you. That I mean, it you know, I don't know if you mean by that. What about YouTubers that actually make knives? Would you buy from them? But if not, I get it. I mean, if you draw a line, just draw a line.
You got to do it. I would not buy any YouTuber knives after mine.
Yeah. The man lives in a 4-story house in a nice part of Ohio. He just remodeled the entire thing while not working a job. How can you claim you're broke? You can't even afford to buy food. You know, that you're right, Andrew. That's the part that upsets me, and that's why I have spoke out against Cole. And now his entire fan base will never buy a knife from me because I badmouth it. That's not badmouth. That's just speaking the truth.
That's pointing out the obvious hypocrisy of just.
I used to tell people, customers at my mechanic shop all the time, I was like, man, you pull up in here fucking poor mouthing me, talking about, you know, you can't afford to pay to have your car fixed, you know, wanting me to cut you a break because you work at Goodyear. I was like, don't come here poor mouthing me when there's a stack of bricks with the neighborhood's name on it that you have to turn into to get to your house every day. Because I don't have that stack of bricks with the neighborhood name on it. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
What's up, Mr. Ellis?
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Ryan? How's Mississippi today, buddy?
I want to come home. I actually did for a little bit. It's been a day, man. So I had one of my guys had a family emergency, so I had to run him home all the way back to Harperville, Alabama from Mississippi. Turned around, came right back. But literally, I just got out of the last meeting of the day.
It's a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah, Andrew.
You say get a rental car, see ya.
Full disclosure, Andrew, I watch him too.
The company's paying for my vehicle.
Who's paying for your vehicle?
My company's paying for my vehicle.
No, I'm saying normally if that was the case, instead of you driving them back, they would have just said, hey, that if you got an emergency, get a rental vehicle on your own and see you later.
Oh, yeah. I promise my guys when they come out on the road with me, I take care of them. So I try to hold true to that word.
Good point, Scott. I can respect that. 100%.
How's everybody doing tonight? What y'all been talking about? Y'all been talking about me since I ain't been here?
No, dude, we wondered where you was.
YouTube drama. And to end that, for me to say my last word, I hope they all make plenty of money. I would love to see Javon make plenty of money because none of them work harder than he does. None of them post as much as he does. Just don't bullshit me, man. That's all I'm getting at. Just don't.
Javon, dude, he posted a lot. I tried to keep up with him. I can't.
Yeah.
I try to do one a day, guys. I'll tell you right now, I haven't put up the one for tomorrow, but I will between now and like 5. That's why I'm gonna wait.
I mean, you're trying to build a library, John, and that's great, but I do feel like at some point in time,
I've got to cut back.
I think you should cut back just because
I already told him this.
I'm going to get tired of clicking on your videos.
Well,
now,
yeah,
I've probably got 2 hours of videos to get caught up on, John. I'm not gonna lie to you, buddy.
Dude,
I've been
telling
busy.
you, I know that I sacrifice views for volume because you can't, if you put out a video every 3 or 4 days, you're going to get more people that watch it because they can't watch them all. I don't watch videos much at all, but it's just for me, it's kind of like, especially not working, it's my routine. I get up, I try to fuck with comments. That never goes well. And then I'll make a long form video and then I'll upload it later in the day to my computer. And then I'll make like 9 shorts. And that's kind of like how my day's laid out. So I just do it to have structure.
Yeah.
I got a confession to make.
But I do need to cut back because it's a burnout.
As long as you're having fun, John.
It gets to be a burnout, dude.
Your viewers may very well be too. But I understand what you were doing. The building a library is important because that means there's thousands of videos out there that somebody might watch
down the road.
Maybe you get a little ad revenue. That makes perfectly good sense. Yeah.
And I average on ad revenue probably $250. Memberships is where I probably make $200. Ooh, dude, is that what you get?
I think watching my lives on incognito mode is an excellent idea. Everybody should probably watch.
I'm waiting on Shayne to look at it.
I see it. I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, I do have a confession to make,
Listen to the
guys.
thing, though.
I haven't opened it yet.
I've been there and had the money to buy one, but I really don't like thumb stud. My thumbs don't work with thumb stud knives, and it upsets me because I want one. But yeah, and that's weird because when the ABW Thug comes out,
so bad.
It's going to be a thumb stud knife. But the only reason I'm okay with it is because it's also going to be a compression button lock, so I can just use the button to open it.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like, I don't know why. When I put my thumb on the stud, like my whole hand just shakes. I can't do it.
So I guess most of you know how I come about getting this. You know, Sharif talked about the King Tut special edition, and I went and looked at it. I fell in love with it too. But I've been keeping an eye on it, and I sent Sharif a message when I saw they had 4 of them in stock, and I didn't know how long it was going to take for him to answer that message or even look at it. So I was like, crap, they're going to run out. So I bought one, so that way I knew for sure that he could get one. Well, about 5 minutes later, he texted me or he messaged me. I said, well, hell, go get one. We'll both have one. So, but anyway, long story short, this was supposed to come. What is today? Tuesday? It's supposed to come yesterday.
Yeah.
Or today, Monday.
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. My days are so
Not
much.
they did not.
So anyway, it actually got delivered Saturday, and I got an alert saying, hey, the delivery was rejected because your receptacle was blocked. So I looked on the camera, and you can see the delivery person put everything in my mailbox, drive off, deliver everybody else in my cul-de-sac, and then come back. He pulls the package out of the mailbox, throws it in the back of his truck, and pulls off. Yeah, I trust me, I raised hell. But anyway, so it came. Of course, it came yesterday, the day that I left. And I mean, I'm so frustrated. I'm inventing cuss words. I'm putting cuss words together that don't belong together. I'm so frustrated. And anyway, so when I had to carry old dude home today, I was like, I'm going by the house. I'm grabbing that knife.
You was thinking that shit all the way home. You was thinking the only thing that
I was
makes
like,
it
you know what? This family emergency is well timed.
Hey, sometimes things happen for a reason, right?
It did. So I still haven't opened it. I'm wanting to so bad.
Do it now.
So they missed an opportunity here, guys. I think, especially with this one, it being the King Tut. Why is the box not a sarcophagus?
Because Spartan, dude, they're just like, I mean, Strider comes in a plastic bag, no box. It's just part of the lore, just the black box.
So cool.
Now, it might have some fancy certificate of origin in there.
Yeah. What blade steel do you use on that? MagnaCut?
Yeah. Holy shit, man. This thing is so much better in person, y'all.
It's gorgeous, dude. Look at that.
Now I get why Sharif wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
Probably his great uncle in that sarcophagus.
He said, Sharif, what's this say?
Yeah, I remember that now. See, I didn't see the other side of it.
Dude, the action on this is so
I was
good.
too busy laughing at Sharif to understand that it was an Egyptian thing.
And it gets so much better. I mean, it gets where you can reverse flick it. It'll drop shut. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It is really pretty.
I love that pattern. I like that one Stevie's got too, the Pacific Northwest. That's a badass.
That one Stevie's got is nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. That gum. I get on, Shayne starts getting naked.
Well, Mr. Eddie asked.
Hey, man, ask and you shall receive.
And I am getting hot.
That's gorgeous, dude.
Glasses off first.
I love does the pivot just straight? What's the pivot got on the back? Anything?
Yeah.
Nice.
Whose dog?
Line, hang on.
Oh, is it yours? I'm glad baby don't hear you.
Can I get a word in?
I can't get over the amount of detail on this thing.
I don't know who does their laser work or whatever, but it's always immaculate.
Yeah, it's done. I mean, everyone I've seen have been done very, very well. And they're such solid knives.
Yeah.
No, but what I was saying, Shayne, is Mellow Mushroom Pizza's got a taco pizza now, a Mexican pizza.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, you know what Mellow Mushroom is, right? Those big ass pizzas. They got them over on it.
I'm not a fan of Mexican spices.
Oh,
I don't
dude.
eat a lot of Mexican food because I'm not even a fan of chili powder. I can eat it. I won't complain if I have to eat it, but it's not my thing.
Taco. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. And
I could eat Italian every meal, but I can eat Mexican food.
Are you a red sauce guy? See, I like linguine and that clear white sauce too.
No, I'm a red sauce guy. I would never purposely pull into a Mexican restaurant and eat by myself. If I'm with people and they want to go there, is it not sharp, guy? Right?
They're not slicey, dude, but there's pokey style.
That's why when I was feeling of it feels really thick.
Yeah, they're very thick. That's one of the kind of the beauty of a Harsey. A lot of people will hollow grind them.
Yeah, it's a hard juice. It's a hard juice combat folder.
Now, Todd or Kyle will tell you when he comes back on what to sharpen it at if you want to lower it.
I guess I'm just going to have to send it to Kyle.
Yeah, I wouldn't, for you, Ryan, I wouldn't recommend having it hollow ground just because.
Yeah, you want to use it as a hard.
I don't think that's the right choice for you. But if you have Kyle put in it, that knife will cut if you let Kyle.
But to be honest, I'm probably not going to be using this knife. This is going to just go in the collection.
You might be able to just strop a little bit of it too. You got a strop?
I don't.
We need to get you a strop.
I need to get one. Who is it? Is it?
That's not fair, dude. I don't think Taco Bell's spicy. I just don't care for the flavors, and I'm not a peppers and onion kind of guy. So that kind of
dude, Taco Bell Mexican pizza. Don't even talk about it. I'll cut this life short.
I don't mind the Mexican pizza, but I used to eat my hot wings with Dave's Total Insanity sauce. So I know what hot is. I don't anymore.
That's real hot.
Because
but like Taco Bell to me is more just a warm spice as opposed to a hot.
Right. I've eaten some of the hottest stuff on the planet, but I don't anymore.
Where'd Kyle go? He's got his hand up.
His dog was barking.
Oh, that's right. See his little hand up there, though? What's that mean?
What do you mean his little hand?
There's a little white hand up there. Like he's got it raised on his square.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All I see is a black screen.
I see black screen.
Oh, that was my hand. Never mind. I jacked it up. Now it's on Shayne's head. That was me. That was
John, I needed that.
Yeah, that was me. Just
I needed that,
hovering. Buddy. I was just hovering. My bad. Let's make Kyle big so when it comes
Hey, is it 1931?
Kyle's not even here. Kyle's not even on screen, John. What are you doing?
I don't hope he'll come back because I got a question for him.
He will. Yeah.
Who is it? Who is it that's making those straps? Is it 1931 Leather Works?
Yes.
I need to get him to make me one.
What's up, said Stevie.
Stevie,
what's up, brother?
Looky.
Here, let me make you big. That deserves for you to be big.
Yeah. Make the big boy big. Look, Stevie.
You got a hand right over the head. Oh, that's my hand.
What is wrong with you, dude?
I'm joking, dude. That was a joke.
I like it better when I'm not serious.
How do you like the action of it? It's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Dude, I'm loving it.
Yeah, see, I don't mind.
I can't do that. I can't flick that knife open. Every now and then, I've got something with thumb studs right here that I can middle finger, but it has to have what people consider a bad detent for me to be able to use it. So
detent is so subjective.
Yeah.
No,
this knife has like a thumb stud detent, but it has a flipper. I'll show you. If I just light switch it,
right.
But I have to put some balls behind it to actually get it.
Well, like on this Medford, if I just light switch it.
Yeah. I love that knife, though. You loaned me that knife.
Dude, I love this knife.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a slicer, but it's definitely a jabber and a worker.
Yeah. I can't do the bologna nip pivot. The pivots are large on the Harseys for sure. Scott, and you stuck at a bus terminal.
Mine's got a biohazard symbol on its pivot.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
badass.
You got the plague doctor.
Yeah, I got a little 3.5 and this one, just because the reason is when I got into the knife world, it was during lockdown. So to me, it kind of meant something.
Right. Yeah, I think they sold a lot of plague doctors during COVID.
They did because it's got the germ on the back.
You didn't have to buy the matching mask though, John.
No, but that was for Halloween, dude. I've got a little incense burger back here. I went all out, man. Hello. Take you to hell.
That's good stuff.
So Kyle, I found out my Harsey is not that sharp, or it's not slicey anyway. It's a little
Show
sharp.
it again. Show us again, Ryan. Show Kyle. Watch this, Kyle. I have a feeling you might be seeing that thing soon.
Can you cut it sideways? Because I don't cut down good.
Are you seeing this, Kyle?
I'm watching.
It's not cutting at all now.
Even with that thicker geometry, you can still make it cut, right?
Oh yeah, but it definitely needs a regrind to get slicey.
I don't think Ryan have it reground. Just the collector mentality.
What would you sharpen it at, Kyle? Like 21? If you want,
Probably. I need to measure it, but yeah, that's pathetic.
Stevie, I'm always looking for a knife that makes me feel like a badass.
but Ryan, it'll stab through a car door.
What did McNeese even sell for now? Like, what's the PM2 and the Dixon sell for?
It'll cost
$550 to $6.
$550 to $6. That's fair. I don't have an issue with that.
What'd you say, Ryan?
I'm on hotel Wi-Fi. Everybody was cutting out. I don't know what y'all were saying.
What does that Harsey cost?
I think shipped was about 600.
Okay, that's fair.
Something.
Shane, you're gonna flip out when you see how light your shaman is when you lose that scale.
Yeah.
Because yours, I looked at it. It is the scale delete.
Right. Cool.
I carry this every day now.
Carl, that's an interesting question, dude. I was just thinking about that here a while back. You know, used to the Holy Trinity was Strider, Chris Reeves, and Hinder. I would dare my new Holy Trinity would be SPK, Lamia, McNeese, PM2, and Oz Roosevelt. I feel like that's the holy. I don't know if they will stand the test of time, but I kind
You
of feel
gotta throw
like
Koenig in there somewhere, though.
the new Holy Trinity. Well, Koenig is just, in my opinion, is just like CRK. They're
Too refined.
They're just timeless, but they're not dropping anything new. So there's not that huge amount of hype behind them.
What's that other model they've got? They've got the
Mini Goblin.
Mini Goblin.
Yeah, the Goblin's grown like an axe, though, isn't it? Isn't it really poor geometry? Or am I wrong?
I've never had the Goblin in hand.
Scotty, I would too.
I might be thinking of the. Snuz bought one. The whippersnapper. I may be thinking of the whippersnapper.
Yeah, those are thick.
I tried to trade for a whippersnapper tonight with A to Z. He told me no go.
Yeah.
I would probably go Shayne. I'd keep in SPK. I would probably replace Oz with brown knives.
Ooh, that's not a good one.
And Third one's a toss-up because I love Hinder still, but I also like McNeese. I'd probably go Hinder because I'm not opposed to flipper tabs.
I think the only reason I mentioned those, though, Kyle, is because at this point, almost everybody either has or have had the other three. You know what I mean? It's not like they're sought after like they used to be, because just about everybody's either has one, has already had one.
Yeah, Ed, I agree. Prince is up there. They're pretty nice, but they've also, being custom is different than, we're talking production typically.
I like Maddie.
Perfect. Who was it said Demko? Ed, I get the Demko hot. I don't know if it's hot. Maybe that's the wrong word. But ever since I met the guy, I've just not wanted one.
I found him very engaging, but that was just me.
I get it. Well, I probably did push his buttons. I probably brought up the wrong conversation, and that.
No.
Yeah. And all I did was I mentioned how great it is, how big the aftermarket, he created for transparent knives. So, I mean, it's awesome that you created this huge aftermarket for Brian Kim to be able to sell your blades, and he did not think that shit was
he should be flattered that his locking mechanism and that much of his knives.
Yeah,
he knew at the
time,
time,
buy the knife and throw the blade in the garbage. Who else could say that?
He knew at the time that wasn't the best blade steel. Even when they released those, they didn't even have the ones I've got. Don't even have metal pivots. They do have metal pivots, but they don't have the Demko pivots. I've got 4 of those fucking things, plus a little small one.
Andrew, I agree. Brown, his steel's not up to spec on some of them, but the craftsmanship is there and the design is there. Demko makes a solid knife. I don't care for the locking mechanism, and I don't find them enjoyable to mess around with.
I owned an AD 20.5.
Yeah.
One day. I was like, oh, okay. All right, I'm done with that.
So I'm not
bad mouthing his knives at all, guys. I'm not bad mouthing him at all. Like I said, I was probably stupid, and I wasn't trying to provoke him. I was being completely serious, but it was probably the wrong topic to bring up to that guy. It was at the Nashville Knife Show when I was with you, Javon. But he just got a little rude after that, and was like, "Well, that certainly wasn't my intention." And
was that before or after their tiff?
I don't remember. I don't know. I'm not sure. It was poor timing on my part. So, taking nothing away from Andrew Demko at all. I've not handled the Brown knives, and at the same time, I've not seen anything from them that makes me have to have one.
Dude, if you look at
but in all honesty, I'm not a huge fan of the blade shape on the PM2.
If you look at this, just some of the design stuff that he's done in the detents and whatnot. So if we go to Brown knives, here it is.
Ed, I'm not saying anything bad about Demko. He's definitely a staple, but I'm just not a fan of.
We go to resources.
Knife.
Look at that. That's an adjustable detent pin and an adjustable lock pin. If you go down to the adjust mini FSD lock, he's got these built into the blade.
My favorite knife designer to follow, though.
Yes.
You don't have me on screen.
Oh.
And I don't even know what their knives look like. And I don't care.
Oh, is that her? Is that
She is so gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, she is.
Look at those seductive eyes.
Purvis?
Yeah.
That's A. Purvis's girlfriend, whatever. When I met her at Blade Show, she was literally covered in dog hair, and she was still the most beautiful thing I've ever laid my eyes on. I mean, it was everywhere.
So she loves dogs, and she's just hot. What a win!
I'm sure it would, Andrew. But like I said, I just haven't. I can see pictures of them and appreciate how nice they are, but
That's
going
true.
back to the original Holy Trinity, to this day, still my favorite knife shape, and it will probably always be the Strider. I think that's the most, because I like knives that make me feel like I'm ready for battle when I hold them.
Mills.
That knife has always done that.
Paul, when did Rob sell that? I had told him I would be interested potentially.
Which one's that?
No, don't get your panties in a wad.
No, I'm just surprised that I didn't know he was going to sell it. He said he was going to hang on to it. The Cortex XL.
Yeah, he goes through some knives. He's got it.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but Strider was such a influence on me.
That's Scotch's knife, isn't it?
No, that's just a Heathen. That's just
Ooh, I like it.
Standard Heathen. And I've sold a few of them, but that was definitely inspired by Strider. I mean, you can even
I can see it now. Now that you say it, I've never noticed it before.
You see the jimping on the back of the handle right there?
Yep, yeah, and it looks like it's got that broader handle. I would have never noticed it if you hadn't put it on.
That triangle type shape.
Yeah, I didn't want to make an exact copy of his knife, but it definitely. This is still by far my favorite knife I make. I wish that's the only knife I ever had to make, but it's a little large for people to carry on a daily basis, so I get it.
But it's a heck of a work knife.
Yeah, I mean, if I was putting together a kit, in my chest rig, it'd be a Heathen, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Doug's going to be just the home run for you.
Well, because right now the pocket fixies are the thing.
They are.
Yeah. And I don't think that knife
Zan is my next CRK knife for sure. It's the only one I don't have now.
They're cool, but they'll
I'll never own a Zon just because Ian Coates won't shut the fuck up about it. Fuck.
You'll give him a hug at Blade Show. You know you will.
I will. I'm over it. I'm not mad at him anymore. He's sucked up enough to make me not be mad at him anymore. But there's still several of them in there that just fucking hate me.
Dude, it's a cult of personality, dude. I'm telling you.
To this day, can't stand me. I think the only reason Paul
to the next level.
Yeah, Paul Mike was on that bandwagon of not liking me. I don't think his hatred was as deep seated, because he seems like he can tolerate me being around.
And all you did was ask questions.
No, all I did was saying that it's embarrassing to watch a man beg for people to buy his lunch.
That's objectively criticistic. I mean, that's what it is.
Right. And maybe I'm just too old, but I mean, as a man, I just don't understand how a grown ass man can be like, me and my wife aren't going to eat if somebody don't DoorDash us some food. I would never admit that. Get the fuck off the internet and go do something. Go pick up aluminum cans. Go mow a yard.
And the cash is coming in.
You're paying that internet payment though, ain't you?
Yeah.
All right, I know you're busy, but I need to talk to you sometime soon.
Okay. Yeah, man.
I was going to message you, but I don't want to bother you. I know you're busy this week.
And I appreciate that too, buddy.
That means when you get ready to go to bed, Ryan, call Kyle and he'll talk you to sleep.
Ed was one of the few people in that
chat. I'm probably going to need it tonight. I've still got a couple more hours of work to do.
Ed was one of the few people in Tri-State's chat that started typing in all caps and kind of had my back. And I appreciate that, Ed. I think it was you and Nick Martino were the only two that saw how beta it was that people were that upset over some capital letters. Just made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just, yeah.
Team Shayne sucks. Let me tell you, dude, I don't know if Stevie's still here. It took me a minute to realize what happened here. All this started as a guzzling competition.
Andrew Ken's a sweetheart.
Hey, I ordered my one suck shirt.
Stevie
last night.
Stevie and Cole and them came up with this whole one suck challenge. as a way to divert how badly he's going to lose at the chugging competition. That's all this one suck challenge is about, was to take away my glory of how bad I'm going to defeat him at the chugging. So he's got all y'all not caring about the chugging when that's all it was about. He's got everybody concentrating on the one suck. Now, I'm having fun with it too. And I can tell y'all now, I've already tried. I can't one suck Capri Sun. And it's much thinner fluid.
So what is this I'm missing out on? What kind of contest are we talking about?
It all started with me saying I could chug Yoo-Hoo faster than Steve. And he said I could not.
Stevie.
Oh no.
So we were going.
You in the summer?
Stevie from the top rope.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining.
Dude.
Stevie created this one suck challenge thing just to take the highlight off how bad he's going to lose at the chug.
I would see if you do it to pudding. I could one suck some Jello pudding. I'll get in there with y'all if y'all are one suck Jello pudding, huh?
Javon, why don't you just say a golf ball and a garden hose? Come on.
No, man, I'm taking the cup of Jello pudding.
I'm still not completely clear on the rules here, because like I can start the Yoo-Hoo and finish it, but I can't without swallowing.
You need a small funnel. You can't use the beer funnel.
You need a straw. That's my point. I could start. I'd be more than willing to race him to the bottom, but as long as I can swallow in between.
Well, there's one suck. I don't see how Steven even has the lung pressure to suck with one and get it all down. I would think maybe sucking without breathing. Yes, satisfaction. It sounds like Shayne's throwing in the towel.
I am not.
What a pussy.
I'm going to destroy him at the chug, and then I'm just going to try to be competitive at the one suck.
It sounds like Shane's trying to act harder than Sharif.
Yeah. I am harder than Sharif. There's no doubt about that. None.
Ryan, I can only imagine them getting done with this challenge and going, oh, milk, bad idea.
I know it's going to happen after the
summertime.
The Yoo-Hoo challenge.
You can call me Nannerpuss. Nanner.
I hate you, Javon.
I need to find a way. How can I put Javon in timeout here?
Maddie, I get that. I get that it's one single suck, but are you allowed to swallow during this time?
In one single suck, you'd literally have to have the.
But if you stop and swallow, that's two sucks. You can't suck and swallow at the same time.
Yes, I can.
I can open my throat.
I did a Mott's apple juice box the other day. I got it.
Dude, I can't wait for that ride over the break show.
Sucking, but I had to swallow 3 or 4 times.
Now, are you sucking Yoo-Hoos out of a bottle, or are you sucking them out of a little box?
A little box. That's the whole
point. Then you've got to squeeze it. Then you've got to just. What?
No squeezing. No manipulating the box in any way. And
That's a tiny 8-ounce box, Shayne. You should be able to suck that down.
The size of that straw. Just try it.
I will.
I'll be right back.
Get one. I want to see this.
Hey, are we able to poke a hole in the box?
I would think you could modify the box because you would want an air hole, a carburetor in that box.
Exactly. You stab a little hole into the box, and that way the box, you're not fighting against the air pressure, right?
That's right. And you're able. The only rules is no hands. Stevie's got a trick.
Javon, you raised your volume again.
Huh?
That was super loud.
My voice?
No, on your.
I forgot to turn it down, dude. I know. Am I an Nannerpuss?
Yeah.
Dude, when I used to be able to make clips, they did an update because they want me to buy this Microsoft clip thing. I found that I could adjust my volume in my clips for like a week. Now I can't do that anymore. Pisses me off. I've got to get better drops. Are these loud?
Before y'all question, why do you have Capri Suns in your refrigerator?
Because you're practicing.
It's because I'm married to a childless lesbian. It's the truth.
See, to me, I could drink Yoo-Hoo much faster than Capri Sun. That's a totally different consistency.
Look at the size
of
this.
But the Capri Sun's so thin, though.
Right. Sucking that Yoo-Hoo through this tiny straw.
See if you can put a tiny hole in the side of
I
that.
don't think we're allowed to have a carburetor hole.
Stevie said just no hands.
So, I mean, technically, if you do it with your knife, you're not touching it with your hand.
You didn't exhale first. Go, Shayne. Go. You did it.
No, he's swallowing between.
It doesn't, he's one breath, though.
That was one breath. You're right.
Yeah, I think in that,
you can see my cheeks contracting.
Make a hole if you want. It ain't gonna help you. Stevie's got your number.
That's all I need to know is that legal?
So, Shayne, do this. Now blow a whole lot of air into it and suck at the same time.
You got to purge it.
Yeah, blow a whole lot of air into it and then start sucking. Your first few drinks, you're going to have some help.
Go, you have to grab another Capri Sun, dude.
Go get another.
And I don't know. No, I'm not drinking any more Capri Sun. That purple hair crazy ass woman.
What a quitter.
That purple hair woman come in the kitchen and beat me.
And this is the point where you say, Shayne saying that he could breathe out of his ears, what in fact was a lie.
That's what I think.
Stevie still hasn't answered. Stevie still hasn't answered me. Was that a legal one suck? I don't know. If it
Swallowing
is,
resets the suck, Todd Carr says. Stevie said he ain't even going to practice.
I want an answer, Stevie. Was that legal?
Was Shayne's attempt at that Capri Sun a legal one suck, even though he sucked several times within one breath?
I had suction the entire time. I never stopped to breathe.
I got money on Shayne. He's been servicing a local bus station for a few decades.
That's right. I was in the Navy, by God. You ain't going to outsuck me.
Oh, God.
Clip it, Jamie.
Oh, me. It'll be whatever night Ryan takes me over there. I'm at his disposal.
I got to go see if Carmex is
How many
alive.
days are we staying, Ryan? I didn't think to ask. We just staying Friday night,
Saturday night. Coming home on Sunday.
But keep this in mind. So that means we're going to have to get up really early.
On Friday,
all the way to Huntsville, get John, and get there by the time the show starts.
Yep. John, did you know you were going with us?
Shayne kind of broke it to me, dude. I'm working it out.
Choice.
You don't have any choice.
I will ride. I will ride or die. I can assure you that.
I want video. You need to tie him to the top of the car like Grandma on Christmas Vacation.
If we had a rocking chair, could put Javon in the back. God, it'd be so funny.
Weekend at Bernie's, baby.
We at least have a rocking chair, John.
You know, I'll tell you what. I've never gone and not stayed in my little jungle nest, my Inu. Every time I've gone to Blaze Show, I've camped out wherever I've been. Like even at houses, like when we stayed at houses, I would go out back and camp in the back. Like that year with Panic and them, I found 2 trees out back. I was like, fuck this.
Do you have a rocking chair, John?
No, I don't have a rocking chair, dude. I'm not that old yet.
I want a picture of you in the bed of his truck in a rocking chair so bad.
I'm a good 5-10 years away from a rocking chair. Then I'll never get out of it.
Stevie, please answer me. Was that legal or not?
Stevie's trying to decide. He thinks it might have been. You're gonna have to drink another one because I don't think Stevie saw how you did that. Y'all are making me want a Yoo-hoo. I'll tell you what I can drink, and I can drink it in one gulp. You know those muscle milks?
Yeah.
Dude, I can take one of those and.
It's not working.
I'm like, dude, you know, I'm a bandy rooster.
It has been a long time since I've chugged, but Ryan, I could literally. You can ask Chapel. I've gone to Blackstone and not paid for a single beer just because of betting people on the chug challenge. Those $5 pictures of Milwaukee's Best Light, I can literally turn one up and sit it down empty, just like that.
I used to do that with a pitcher too.
6 beers at one time.
Yeah, I used to do that too with pitchers. And then next thing I know, I'm getting kicked out on my ass.
Yeah, I used to drink a lot of beer too. That was, I think, what first led to my, I guess you'd call it, affection for cocaine. And then when I switched to Crown and cocaine, it became
I
a
love
problem.
the idea of cocaine. I just wish it worked on me. It just don't. I'm kind of glad it don't because I love the idea of it too much.
It was a great yin to my alcoholic yang, if you will, as it were.
Yeah.
But
Stevie don't want to talk about the rules.
No, I think we're gonna have to talk about those rules.
Sure I can even participate in the one suck challenge if I don't know. I mean, I just
Stevie can one suck a large McDonald's milk
what I plan to do. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're telling me I can't swallow, and you've got a way to drink the whole thing without swallowing, then I'll still compete. And if you win, that's fine. Yeah.
What's up, Throw Cheeto from the train? We were talking about you earlier, brother.
What's crunking, Cheeto?
He'd be crunking out.
I hadn't talked to Cheeto about this yet, but Cheeto, after Blade Show, I'm going to do a run of your bird and trout that you designed, and I'm going to do it in Pop's Pro Cut. I don't know what Pop's Pro Cut is yet, but that's the plan.
Shayne, Todd brought up a good point about that earlier that you might want to think about. We'll talk about later.
What, Pro Cut?
On the bird and trout.
Todd Carr brought up a good point about it?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it.
I know. I'll talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I haven't nailed anything down yet, but that's what I was thinking. No, Todd Carr, I'm not going to do that, buddy. I've seen results of cola and Mentos.
I'm gonna drop a little of my favorite new streamer on y'all, then I'll turn it off.
Can repair what happened, I promise. But here's the thing, Spurg. If I don't talk about them, I don't want.
What's wrong with these burger buns?
I'm gonna take it off.
You know what's aggravating when you do that, John? You're never prepared. What? We wouldn't mind if you pulled the clip up and it was at the point that you wanted to play. Is the
but his whole point is he's on such a different rant and drunk. He just goes, you got to catch him in the right time to where he's just
what I'm saying is, if you want to show us something like that,
I've got to set it up.
Set up, ready for the clip you want instead of searching for it. Nobody wants to watch you search for it.
I'd rather watch the damn Nannerpuss again.
The Nannerpuss.
Don't make me pull up the Nannerpuss. I'll pull up the satanic commercial so you can look out for your kids' satanic issues.
Cheeto, send me that link on my Instagram saying what you're talking about, but I see you're showing some Van X Super Clean. I haven't been able to find any Van X. I know Cheeto wanted me to make him something in Van X. I've not had any luck buying it. I could do Van X, but it would change it. It would probably greatly change the price. Now, like I said, I hadn't said anything in concrete. The point to the Pro Cut was we could do it very affordable. But I will do it in whatever steel you want to do it in, buddy. I'll make something else out of that Pro Cut. I don't care.
So what I was saying was the bird and trout in Pro Cut might not have been the best choice for it because it's designed to be in the wet environment.
Right.
So that's what Todd brought up. That's all I was saying.
And Todd is correct. I did think about that, but then I thought, well, 95% of the bird and trouts in the world for the last 50 years have been made out of carbon steel.
Well, Todd's a user, so I mean, he's just thinking out for you.
Yeah, I get that too. It may be better off in MagnaCut or something like that, or Van X, if we can find some Van X. Yeah.
Van X, I've had a really good. I've not sharpened a lot of Van X because I haven't had to, but I love my quiet carries in Van X.
Yeah,
Van X is okay. I mean, I'm not a super duper fan, but it's all right.
Well, it's not a very well balanced steel. It's just mainly stainless, and that is best property.
I'd be glad to do it, Manicut Cheeto. I'll just use that Pro Cut to do some of my homesteads, which is typically my cheaper, user fixed blade anyway. That's fine.
Shayne, will builders like you have access to Magnamax before, like, it's massively available? Wouldn't you think?
I don't know.
Not that you
my
want it.
steel availability is really limited to who I've been buying from previously, but I know Alex can get me almost anything because if he can get it, I can get it, or he can point me in the right direction to get it. Just my distributors, I haven't been able to get any advantages.
Right. Well, I don't think it's actually, I think they're still trying to get those 2 mills to be able to, if you watch that video, to get the same exact consistency to come out. So if they roll it.
Not every steel comes out of Niagara. I mean, there's
No. Niagara has 2 mills running Magnamax.
Right.
They name them, and they say that right now they're, I forget, 0.18 off of being consistent, to where if they just get it in from either plant, either one of their sources, they've got to be able to roll it the same and know that the end user is going to get the same heat treat, the same everything. So they're still trying. It's in what they call prototype stage now.
Yeah.
The one I'm excited for is the X7, Nitro VX7.
The what?
Nitro VX7?
Yep.
What's the story, Morning Glory?
It's a super hyped up Nitro V that's going to be better edge retention and potentially tougher.
It is a high technology knife steel developed by Bruta Estrella as a successor to Nitro V. It combines the characteristics of Nitro B and Nitro V, resulting in a steel with high edge stability, excellent stainlessness, and a very fine carbide and nitride structure. That's what comes off of memory.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. I mean, that means there may be, I'm worried about all these steels that are popular now and whether we're going to be able to get them or not. We may not even need them. I mean, here's the thing about Magnamax. It costs the same as K390, which is not cheap.
If you listen to the guy from Niagara, whose whole business is being able to come up with these products for knife makers, he seemed to think that, as if you look at where S35, S45, where these steels that we call great steels come from, it's from steels being made better. So he knows that these steels are all eventually going to become less desirable, maybe not obsolete. S90V heat treated well will always do what it does. But if you've got steels that offer you a better balance and the same edge retention, people are going to be asking for that more if the price stays within reason, right? And I would think with powdered metallurgy, your price can stay pretty consistent. I could be wrong because I've never baked that shit up.
And one thing to remember too, even with Magnamax, they're saying it's going to have K390 edge retention. K390 is awesome. I love the edge that you got, but it's not even close to the top. I mean,
that's not what Jared said.
Not up there with S125.
That ain't what Jared said.
And who said that?
Jared.
Jared who?
Neves.
I never heard of her. But as far as edge retention goes, K390 is awesome, but it's not Maximet, it's not 15V, it's not S125V.
Well, and here's the other thing too that we're not accounting for. It's great to have all these, I would call specialty steels like Magnamax. A stainless K390 would be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's still only good for typically one or two purposes. It's not well versed as far as it's not tough at all. Right. It's not tough. I mean, it's going to be a slicer. It's not going to be for certain applications. So it's not like the end all be all. And that's what people have to understand. They're not knife steels for certain circumstances.
Right.
Yes, this is not for cutting through staples.
Paul, I'm not sure. That last piece of K390 I bought was like $180, I think. And that piece of 125 was half that, but it wasn't quite half as much steel. It was nowhere near as wide.
And thinner too, wasn't it?
Yeah. And thinner. Yeah. Yeah. But I will try, if we can if there's something better out there and I can get it, then that's what we'll go with.
But better is so subjective.
The last thing I want is to be stuck with that old school mindset of, this is all any of y'all need. I happen to like crew wear, but there are steels out there now that are better than crew wear at certain things. So
yeah, crew wear is versatile though,
yeah.
because of the carbide structure and how it takes an edge as well too.
Right.
Because a lot of steels, we talked about this earlier, a lot of steels can't take a polish and hold it. And crew wear is one of those super steels that can, which is surprising in the fact that most can't. And it gives it more versatility as far as how to use it, because it is a reasonably tough steel, has good edge retention, and can take a nasty edge. So
yeah,
And a
that's the
polished
reason
edge, if it takes it well, is always going to be better, Kyle.
not necessarily, but it gives it more versatility, because the ability to maintain that. Every steel can take a polished edge, but not every steel will hold that polished edge.
You can see how much I use this K390 just by how marred up that blade is, and this thing is still. I love how it's not how sharp something can get, and I don't know how to describe aggressive sharp, but like K390 and Rex 45 are both just super aggressive edges to me. That's what I like. And
Well,
so,
there's also the fact that a lot of people don't do polishes well because they overstrop the shit out of them. They slick them out and they lose their bite because they don't know how to maintain that bite.
Yeah.
You maintain bite with you can still get a polished edge with bite. A toothy edge is going to feel more bitey, but it's still going to have bite if you do it correctly.
Right.
So like I can take a knife up to 3,000 grit and it'll still snag really, really quickly. It'll still have tons of bite.
Right.
But not all steels can do that. And
yeah, I've got that Mannix. Just a good point, Todd. I've got that Mannix 2 that I got for Paul Mills. I love that knife. It's in S110V, and Apostle P had did a polished edge on it. Now, I've used that knife a lot. It still will shave the hair off my arm, but it doesn't feel like this feels when I touch the edge. It doesn't feel
Have that
aggressive.
grab.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's what I like. That grabby. It just feels like it wants to cut you.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get off here, grab me a shower, and
I'm just gonna go too, man.
We're about to all pile out. I was going to get y'all to say your goodbyes and tell these lovely people thanks for stopping by. What do you got, Ron, besides working your ass off?
I'll be doing this until Blade Show. So
You got Spartan Harsey.
You got your nice horsey.
I do. It's just not sharp.
What you got, Shayne? Just working away?
Yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow. I got plenty to do, so I'm sure y'all will see me live from the shop sometime.
Shirtless.
You got any news, my brother?
Hopefully just feeling better so I can get cranking on all these nights for Shayne, get them out this week.
Yeah.
Get well, buddy. Guys, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Love in your heart always. Be tolerant and choose debate, not hate. Peace.
Peace out.